AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station. No.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Rob, when are you going to change the open? Are you going to give me a daily reminder that we continue to be second best? I immediately demand a refresh of the open. We should have come in number one in Pitch magazine. We came in second place because you wasn't on your job. I don't want to be constantly reminded that we were second best, that we were the Jim Kelly of the Pitch magazine best sports talk host poll that they had. Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be the runner-up here today with you guys. Rob Brenton is here. We're taking you up until 6 o'clock. We got a lot to get into in today's show. You know what? Because it's the bye week, today's show is going to have a little bit of a different theme. It feels like baseball has kind of been the topic in Kansas City. Listening to the midday show, doing some reading, getting ready for the show, it seems like there's a lot of baseball talk in the air. I don't know if you guys saw the official numbers, but if you add the United States, Canada, and also Japan, 51 million people watch Game 7 of the World Series. So baseball is certainly still top of mind for a lot of people. We'll start with that coming up in just a bit. But before we do that, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. And number three, and most importantly, I need you to remember that the open of the show each day is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. If you're looking for a place to grab a bite to eat, grab something to drink, and also watch some of your favorite games, and the best place to do that is with our friends over at The Other Place. So let's start with a little bit of baseball. Let's start with JJ Piccolo, who was on the midday show earlier today. It is widely known in baseball circles what what the Royals are trying to acquire this offseason. The Royals need a corner impact bat. Left field, right field, I don't care, but the Royals need an impact bat. Here is JJ Piccolo.
Well, I think looking at the market right now, it doesn't seem like it's very deep with the number of outfielders that are really impactful. So if we want to try to go get a really impactful bat, I think our mindset is probably a little bit more on trade right now. If we end up going with some sort of platoon system in one of those spots, it could be through free agency, but we need to stay open to any and all ideas. And, it'll take shape here. The GM meetings are next week, so I think things will start taking shape more so after next week. But preliminary discussions have already been had with teams. Teams know what our needs are. We know what their needs are, and you just formulate how you want to go about it, and hopefully things pick up a little bit next week.
This is in line with what I thought the discussion was basically the entire season. If you take a look at the free agent market, there isn't really going to be a surplus of big-time free agent bats. Now, the Royals could possibly go get Alex Bregman. He plays third base. We'll talk more about that coming up in a bit because it seems like Alex Bregman has been linked to the Royals in various ways. But if the Royals are going to go find this impact bat that we all believe they are looking for, the most likely way that you are going to acquire that player is via trade. Well, what do the Royals have to trade? Here is JJ Piccolo trying to answer that question.
Yeah, I think that can be said for any area that you are deep. So right now our major league starting pitching depth is tremendous. We expect to be hit on our starting pitching this offseason. We have gone through teams asking about our catching in the minor leagues already, and that will continue, I think, with the guys that are behind Carter. So we'll be open-minded to it. The toughest part about trades is whoever may have interest in whatever catcher we have or starting pitcher we have, they need to have the player that we want in return.
Yeah, sure.
So that pool gets somewhat dumbed down pretty quickly. It gets a little bit thinner, so there's certain teams you can target and have those discussions. And in the end, it's ultimately, who do they value the most? Who do we value the most? But we certainly expect catching to be something the teams will ask about, and starting pitching, major league ready starting pitching, to be another thing that other teams covet.
So that was J.J. Piccolo, who was on Cody and Gold on the midday show earlier today. I think we all know what the challenge is going to be for the Royals this offseason. The Royals need an infusion of offense to their lineup. How do the Royals go about finding that person? It doesn't sound like, based on what we just heard from J.J. Piccolo, that they believe that player is in free agency, at least not in the outfield. Now, Alex Bregman could possibly be a solution to their problems, but again, he plays third base. You'd have to kind of move some things around. Now, it would give you a very, very dynamic infield if that's the direction that you want to go, but let's see how the offseason plays itself out. I also think that we have known this about the Royals from the very, very beginning. If the Royals are going to go add that impact bat, they are more than likely going to have to give up something that they really, really like. They did that last offseason with Brady Singer, where they traded Brady Singer and they got back Jonathan India. They are more than likely going to have to do that again. You have a tremendous currency when it comes to your starting pitching. You have a surplus. You have really accumulated depth. Now, that is a great thing to have because arms are fragile and players break down throughout the course of the season. So you want to be 7, 8 deep when it comes to starting pitching. And the Royals did a good job last year that when they faced some injuries, they had somebody ready to plug in. We were not spending a lot of time a year ago talking about Noah Cameron, and now he is very much inside your plans. But if the Royals are going to find this impact bat, I don't really see it any other way. I think they're going to have to trade one of their starting pitchers. I think they're going to have to put pitchers into two groups. Who are some guys who can't trade? You would have to absolutely knock our socks off with an offer for us to consider trading him. And you put those pitchers off to the left. And if you don't fit in that category, then I think you got to be up for grabs. I think the Royals can't get emotional about this, and you got to realize where you are as an organization. And if there isn't a player that you think is worthy of spending the money for, then you're going to have to spend another form of currency, which is some of your starting pitching, to go get what you want. I think this trade is going to happen because I don't really think the Royals have a choice. If you are serious about improving your lineup, being more well-rounded, and giving yourself a chance next year to win your division and or make the postseason, I think this is a trade that ultimately you are going to have to make. Rob, what do you make of what we just heard from J.J. Piccolo, the general manager for the Royals?
I think it's in line with what we kind of knew about the Royals' upcoming offseason. It's a really big offseason for the team. We talked a lot during the summer about how the Royals faced a regression from 2024 to 2025. You cannot regress again, or you will fall out of sight, out of mind. The Royals were in the playoffs, baseball was back in Kansas City, and it was a fun summer. And then the ensuing year, regression offensively, and now a lot of the same doom and gloom from fans has returned. You got to get back to the postseason to keep buying yourself more and more goodwill. And I think everyone knows the path. Jim Bowden knows the path. John Heyman knows the path. You know the path. I know the path. Joe Listener knows the path. You have to add offense. Where me and you disagree a little bit, I think there is a way for the Royals to add offense without having to give up their starting pitching surplus. Now, that comes from, and I'm reading a quote here from John Heyman, whose article mentioned the Royals could be potential suitors for Alex Bregman. He mentioned in the article that the Royals have become a decent spender for small market clubs and could seek extra offense and could be one of the teams in on Alex Bregman. If you are the Royals, and John Heyman is very plugged in with the Royals, and the Royals go get Alex Bregman and then trade one of their prospect catchers for an outfielder, there's a world where you can go into next year and still have a surplus of major league starting pitchers and your offense is better. And in that world, we're talking about you being a division title type of team. We're talking about you being a AL type contender for the ALCS type of team. I think right now, if what John Heyman said in his most recent article about the offseason, that the Royals are considered a decent spender considering they're a small market club, and the Royals go flex a little bit of that spending, there's a world where they can be last year's Tigers. They can be a team where you go, oh, they spent a little more than you anticipated. That happens all the time in baseball. Why can't it be Kansas City? If they don't take that path, you're right. A Bubich, a Cameron, a someone's got to go. I'm not 100% sold that's their only path, though.
I also think it's important to note, though, with Alex Bregman, that Alex Bregman had a chance to continue what was a 3-year, $120 million deal, and he opted out of the contract. So if you're Alex Bregman, like most people, you're not anticipating making less money next year than you just did this past season. You had the chance to make $40 million a year playing for the Boston Red Sox. You decided to opt out of that deal. You were opting out of that deal because you were either looking for more money or more security. So it goes without saying, it's the nature of free agency. You're going to have to overpay for Alex Bregman. Now, you also understand that going into free agency, and if you want truly one of those impact bats, it's going to cost you a little bit. You got to pay in one of two ways. So you can either pay financially, you can pay in payroll, or you can package up something and try to go get you a bat via a trade, and one that maybe fits your financial structure a little bit better, but you had to pay a very different price. Let's see how the Royals decide to play this thing this winter, but the Royals cannot leave this offseason without having a confirmed offensive solution. Not a possibility. Not, well, we got Jack Caglione. No. They need somebody who has a proven track record in Major League Baseball, somebody that you can look at the back of their baseball card, as Vern says, somebody that you can go on Pro Baseball Reference. I see what you have accomplished, and we feel like we can put you in the 3, 4, or 5 every single day in their lineup. If they don't leave that with that this offseason, it is impossible for them to get a passing grade. They might not get an F, but it is impossible for them to get a C or better if they don't make a significant investment in trying to improve their offense. We're going to bounce back and forth between baseball and football for a majority of the day. Coming up on the other side, we're going to take a trip to some of the big stops in the NFL trade deadline as the show progresses. We're going to start in New York with the New York Jets. Why didn't the Jets trade Breece Hall? Why did they trade Sauce Gardner? Why did they trade Quinnen Williams? We'll find out together. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Ready for action, hockey fans? BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is giving players another reason to lace up and hit the ice this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to the goals, the checks, the face-offs, and the breakaways with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like Dark Mode 2. Log into BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, all throughout the hockey season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
You know, there's millions of people without the health insurance they need. I get it. You feel like it's too pricey, a headache to deal with. You deserve something better. And better health. We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality, affordable health insurance. You have health insurance needs. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums, with in-network preventive care at no cost to you, and a network of local doctors and hospitals. So if you're still shopping for health insurance, go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll to get your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Find the plan that's right for you right now. ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Juju Smith-Schuster from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
We're going to take a trip around the National Football League and catch up with the teams that define the 2025 trade deadline in the National Football League. Let's take our first trip of the day to New York City to be joined by Jake Asman. He is with ESPN 880 covering the Jets. Jake, how you doing today, my man?
What's up, Carrington? Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Let's start with this. What have the last 24 hours been like? I think we knew that the Jets were going to be major players. I didn't know they were trading Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, I think everyone was shocked about that. I think the reaction to the Quinnen Williams trade, we were more shocked at just a return for a guy who's not having a great year and seemingly didn't want to be with the Jets anymore. And I don't think anyone can blame him with the amount of losing he's experienced. But Sauce seemingly came out of nowhere just because there were no rumblings of this. He had wanted to be a Jet. They just gave him a huge extension before training camp this year. So certainly crazy. And the fact that they made these moves, and now all of a sudden you still got 9 games to go, and the team's at 1-7. There's just so many just immediate impacts of these deals, and then the big picture with all the picks. That obviously will define the Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji tenure now as they're trying to rebuild this thing.
I want to get to the trades here coming up momentarily, but I got 2 things before we get there. Number one, are you surprised that the Jets are this bad? I didn't think they were going to be good this year. I also didn't think they could quite possibly be the worst team in the league. Are you surprised they're this bad?
Very surprised. And I think the Jets' new spin is, they're trying to, build it their way. But that's not what they said. That's not what Aaron Glenn said when he took over. He said this is not a rebuild. Quinnen Williams actually, he tweeted after the Jets released Aaron Rodgers. He said, I guess I'm headed for another rebuild. And Aaron Glenn was asked about that at the Combine, and he said, I spoke with Q. I told him this is not a rebuild. We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. That was his exact quote. And today, Aaron Glenn, being asked about trading away 2 franchise cornerstones, said, hey, you said you wanted to win now. You said before the regular season started, your goal is to have a team Jet fans are proud of. And Glenn's latest response today to that was, well, I never said when they were going to be proud. Exactly. So, this season's been an unmitigated disaster. The record's the record, but how they've looked, how non-competitive they've been in a lot of these games, it's been a major surprise because there is talent on this team. The reason were able to get what they got for both Sauce and Quinnen, and why teams were interested in Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Quincy Williams, who they ended up not trading, is because there is legitimate talent on this team, but they've been so horribly coached that it's led to, this 1-7 record. And then obviously the quarterback situation. Justin Fields, outside of really just 2 games, has been one of the worst starters in the league this year.
What percentage chance would you put it at that Aaron Glenn is not the head coach next year? We have certainly seen coaches only get 1 year, unable to turn things around. That just happened with the team in your division, with the New England Patriots. Are you certain that Aaron Glenn's going to be back next year? What percentage would you put it that the Jets just go in another direction again?
I think it's at least 90% after yesterday. I'm someone who was certainly advocating for Glenn to be one and done if they did finish with the worst record in the sport because of some of this talent we talked about and how they've completely changed the expectations that they set originally about being competitive and how it's not a rebuild. And now, though, after what they did yesterday, I just don't think you give the head coach and the general manager the opportunity to make these trades yesterday if you're not sold on their vision to rebuild the team now, right? To obviously draft a quarterback very high in the offseason. So, I would have told you before these deals, hey, there is a chance if it continues to look ugly, they finish with 1 or 2 wins, you have the top pick, maybe you do make Aaron Glenn a coach who's fired after a year and you get a real offensive coach for your young quarterback you're going to pick. But after yesterday, I think the chance of that happening is basically none. I think they could finish 1-16 now, Carrington, and Aaron Glenn's going to be back. Because here's the thing with the Jets' power structure, right? Glenn is the head decision maker. While Darren Muji's the GM, who's the one actually on the phone with teams negotiating these trades, there's not a move that gets made that Aaron Glenn is not signing off on. He is the ultimate personnel decider. He's the head coach. He's got more power than any coach the Jets have hired since Bill Parcells back in 1997. And whether or not that's smart, to be determined. So far, certainly not. But Woody Johnson loves the guy, and he doesn't want to fire him. And I think after yesterday, he's fully on board with this new plan the Jets have of getting these picks and rebuilding it.
Right now, we're talking to Jake Asman. He is with ESPN 880 in New York. We're going to take closer looks at teams that define the trade deadline this week in the National Football League. So let's get to the players. Let's get to Sauce Gardner. I think he's one of the 5 best corners in the league. I'm not sure if he's the same corner that he was a couple of years ago when I think he was arguably the best corner in the National Football League. I also just think that this is an offer that you can't pass up. If you get 2 first-round picks, you also get A.D. Mitchell, who I think could be a decent receiver in the National Football League, and you're also a team that's not going anywhere and needs a quarterback. I don't think you can afford to pass up on this trade offer if it's put before you. So I think it's a good move by the Jets to trade Sauce Gardner to the Colts.
I agree with you. And look, Sauce is someone that, I no fault of his own, he became expendable because of the offer, because of the fact they didn't win anything with him. It wasn't because of him. While he might not be, the first team All-Pro he was his first and second year, he's still having another really good season for the Jets. He probably would be a second-team All-Pro right now if the voters had to decide on it. So he's a really good player. But when you don't have a quarterback and you're sitting there at 1-7 and you get an opportunity to get 2 first-round picks for a non-QB, you have to do it because the reality is this. Sauce Gardner is really good, but he's been really good the last couple of years, and the most wins the Jets have experienced during his time with the team has been 7 wins in 2022 and 2023. So it's a shame because he was a great teammate. He was great with the fans. He was great in the community here. He was probably the most popular player on the team besides Garrett Wilson. But ultimately, I think the return was just too good to pass up, so I understand why the Jets did what they did.
Jake, did something go wrong in New York? Because you very rarely see a team make the financial commitment that the Jets just made 3-4 months ago for Sauce Gardner, and now they're just happy to let him walk away. Did something happen behind the scenes that we don't know about?
I think what happened here was, if you look at the way Sauce Gardner's contract was structured, the Jets, to their credit, their capologist actually made it possible for them to do something like this. The way they structured Sauce's bonuses in his contract, the first-year bonus relatively small, meaning the dead cap charges that the Jets incur, there's nothing significant till 2027 and 2028. So they had the opportunity to do something like this. Darren Muji, when he spoke with reporters yesterday, referenced how the contract was structured in case they wanted to get out of it. I don't think they intended to get out of it. I just think they put that in there just in case. I think the reason the Jets were able to get some of these things in Sauce's deal, it was very important to Sauce that he'd be the highest paid corner in the league, that he would surpass Derek Stingley Jr., who was at $30 million. So if you look at Sauce's AAV, it's $30.1 million. So I think part of the compromise was how they structured this contract to have the flexibility to do something like what they did yesterday. I don't think it was part of the plan, but at 1-7 and you're getting 2 first-round picks, I think at that point Sauce became expendable because they recognized without a quarterback, this team's not going to go anywhere anyway.
Right now, we're talking to Jake Asman for a few more minutes here, just getting his take on what the Jets did at the NFL trade deadline. Let's talk about the move that sent Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys. I did think we knew that Quinnen Williams could be had. A little bit surprised at the Cowboys. They didn't want Micah Parsons, but now they're willing to trade a first-round pick and take on the contract with Quinnen Williams. The Cowboys, they very rarely make sense.
It was shocking to me that they gave up what they did. I'm not shocked Quinnen was traded because, look, he's been here 7 years. He's been through Adam Gase and Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich and now Aaron Glenn telling him it's not a rebuild. Well, they're 1-7 and now guess what? They're rebuilding. So, Quinnen Williams was an awesome player, but unfortunately, similar to Sauce, he's never going to get to experience really what winning in New York could be like because the Jets have been so bad during his time. The fact that they were able to get a second and a first, to me, was stunning. You look at recent defensive tackle trades, usually you don't get a first, especially for a guy who's not known for sacking the quarterback, right? Like Quinnen Williams has not had a great year rushing the passer. He's still elite against the run, but the first-team all-pro version of himself, we have not seen in a few years now. He's still under contract, but only $5 million in guarantees left, so he's going to want to rework it. And I just don't think the Jets were going to be able to rework that deal for the long haul for him. So I thought that this was something that if it didn't happen at the deadline, it would be something that would play out in the offseason. But the fact that the Cowboys at 3-5-1 were this aggressive, it stunned us here in New York because we were not expecting the Jets to be able to get what they got for Quinnen. So that, to me, was probably the best value of any of the trades that happened in the NFL because, once again, Quinnen Williams is a really good player, but he's not a game changer. He's not a game wrecker. He hasn't been that in a few years. So to get a first and a second, it was stunning to, I think, a lot of Jet fans.
Which player are you more surprised is still on the Jets? Is it Jermaine Johnson or Breece Hall?
I'm more surprised that it's Breece Hall because he's going into the last year of his deal. I know the Jets have said they want to keep him, but Breece is a guy who you could tell the losing has really impacted him. He's been frustrated with the way things have played out. Whereas Jermaine is under contract for one more year on the fifth-year option. He has openly talked about how badly he wants to turn things around here. He even sent out a long message yesterday. So, the Jets could have traded Jermaine Johnson and got a second-round pick. They said they wanted more if they were going to do it. And ultimately, I think it was the right move to not trade, a premium pass rusher who's still getting better coming off his Achilles injury from last year. With Breece, to me, if you're not going to trade him, you now almost have to extend him. You have to keep him, whether you use the transition tag on him in the offseason or you work out an extension. If you're not going to trade him, you have to extend him because if you just let him now walk for nothing, I mean, the comp pick you're going to get in 2027 in all likelihood is not going to be greater than like a sixth rounder. So, the fact that they apparently had a fourth on the table from at least one, if not more teams, and they didn't do it, no one was willing to meet their asking price of a third. It surprised me just because now there's a lot of uncertainty whether or not he's even going to be here next year. And if you're going to lose him for nothing, I think that's a poor decision.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Are you surprised that the Jets were so steadfast on getting a third-round pick? To use a ticket analogy, we've all tried to sell tickets, and let's say you want to get $75 a piece, but the best offer is $60. I mean, it's better to sell the tickets for $60 than to eat the tickets and then not go to the show. So your point, what you just made about Breece Hall, at this point, he has to be on the team next year to justify that you tried to kind of strong-arm everybody and tried to get a third-round pick.
Yeah, completely agree. And I hope that they do look at this as an opportunity to now keep him because regardless which quarterback the Jets are going to take next year, any rookie quarterback can benefit from having a very good running back. And Brees Hall, maybe the guy we once upon a time thought could be the best in the league after he was having this unbelievable rookie year before he tore his ACL. No, but he's still a damn good player, and we saw that in the Jets went over the Bengals, where he was throwing a game-winning touchdown among running for a touchdown in that game and being the Jets' best offensive weapon. So he's a good football player, and he's someone that I think Aaron Glenn personally really likes. It's just a matter of, does one, he want to be here, and two, if he does want to be here, can you get a deal done with him? Because using the franchise tag on him, it's a lot of money for a running back who's good but not great. So it's a fascinating situation. But to your point, I almost feel like you have to now get him on the team for next year if you chose not to trade him for whatever you could have got for him at the deadline yesterday.
That is our guy, Jake Asman, joining us on the show today. He is with ESPN 880 in New York. The Jets, by far and away, they were the busiest team at the deadline. They traded Sauce Gardner. They traded Quinnen Williams. They did not trade Jermaine Johnson and Breece Hall. Jake, I look forward to talking to you in a couple months when we figure out who the Jets are going to take at quarterback with the number 1 overall pick.
You know where this goes, man. You guys at Kansas City, you guys get to actually experience winning and winning Super Bowls. We win the offseason every year, so it must be nice. I'm very jealous.
Well, you know what? Go Knicks, man. We appreciate you, Jake. Thanks for popping on today, my man.
Let me say this. Thank God for the Knicks. Appreciate you, Carrington.
Absolutely. That's Jake Asman joining us on the show today. He is with ESPN 880 in New York City. Happy to get his thoughts on everything that happened. Rob, are you surprised that the Jets played it the way that they played it with Breece Hall? I mean, they could have traded him yesterday. There's no question that multiple teams made an offer. We believe that Kansas City was one of those teams that went out there and made an offer. We got this yesterday from Connor Hughes. He covers the Jets for SNY.
With Breece Hall, there was an offer on the table for a 4th-round pick from Breece Hall. I was told that it was from the Kansas City Chiefs that were willing to trade for Breece Hall. The Jets were steadfast in wanting a 30. So they wanted a 3rd-round pick for Breece Hall. They were not able to get one, only had a 4th-round offer.
So that is Connor Hughes, who covers the Jets. So the Jets wanted a 3rd. The Chiefs reportedly were only willing to offer a 4th-round pick. I mean, that's a significant difference. I mean, if you're looking at it, so the Chiefs last year, they got Jalen Royals at the back half of the 4th round. That was the 133rd pick. If you're now looking at what a 3rd-round pick looks like for Breece Hall, then that ends around 96. There's some compensatory picks. So we're talking about a pretty big difference between the back half of the 4th round and the back half of the 3rd round. If you're trading him for a 3rd-round pick, that looks like a top 100 pick. If you're trading him at the back half of the 4th round, we're now talking about a top 130 pick. Obviously, very different kind of prospect that you can get. So I understand the Jets holding on to what they think the value is. But if you're not going to sign him this offseason, you did all of this for nothing. You are not getting a 4th-round compensatory pick for Breece Hall. You might get a 5th or a 6th-round pick for him, but you got to factor in other moves that you plan on making. You lose this guy, you sign this guy in free agency. I don't think you're getting better than that if you are the Jets. Now, maybe that's their plan. We're going to go get a quarterback this offseason. We want to pair him with a 24-year-old running back that is super capable. We've already paid Garrett Wilson, so we feel like we've got our offense put together. Maybe that's the plan for the Jets. But if you let Breece Hall walk in free agency, the overwhelming sentiment around the league is you should have taken the 4th-round pick to Kansas City, San Francisco, whomever, whichever team offers you that deal.
I am surprised the Jets were as steadfast with the word. Not just with the Chiefs, but anyone. Like, we talk about all the time, deadlines make deals. Well, not just the trade deadline. The Jets are on a deadline with Breece Hall. He's a free agent. So I would have been a proponent, if I'm a Jets fan, of take anything. Take something. Because you just heard from Jake Asman, he's probably going to get a 6th, maybe a 7th, at best a 5th-round pick back and a comp pick in 2027. I mean, that's all fine and dandy. I love draft picks, but you take the 4th-rounder in 2026 as opposed, because it's a known commodity. So I do now think the Jets are at least way more open to keeping Breece Hall. Not on some lucrative, can you believe they signed that guy for that money deal, but on something that keeps Breece Hall in town for a while, because there's no other reason to not trade him unless the new power structure of New York views him as part of the solution, which makes sense. He's 25. He's been productive before his injury and still been a solid running back in the league. But if the Jets don't re-sign him, that's a massive miss by the Jets, but the Jets are known for massive misses.
100%. I want to play one more thing on this, and then we'll move on. Here is Jordan Schultz with Bleacher Report. Here's what he had to say on why he believes the Jets didn't trade Breece Hall yesterday.
Another huge name that could have been dealt was Breece Hall. Now, he was not dealt because the Jets did not get the draft capital they were seeking. I think a third-round pick would have got it done. Hopefully you saw my report about an hour or so before the deadline that Breece Hall, quote, wants to be out. I think he clearly saw the writing on the wall with not only Quinnen and Sauce traded, but Michael Carter traded earlier. This is a Jets team that is clearly in rebuilding mode. Breece Hall is averaging 5 yards per carry. He will be a free agent after the season.
Was there a dog barking in the back? Did you hear what I heard?
It's like a graphic where it keeps flashing.
Okay.
It's a video
But it sounded
thing.
like it was a dog.
Yeah, it was a weird thing.
It sounded like he was working from remote and his dog was going crazy in the back. That's what it sounded like to me. It was hard to focus. I just kept hearing this sound in the back. I don't even know what was going on. I was so distracted by the sound in the back. It doesn't matter now at this point. The Jets didn't trade Breece Hall. The trade deadline is closed, and everybody has to go their own separate ways, and you got to improve your roster elsewhere. You know what? Speaking of dogs, Rob, let's talk about this Tom Brady topic because you are a pet owner. I imagine a lot of you listening are also pet owners. So if you don't know, Tom Brady cloned his dog. It cost around $50,000. Now, I don't know all the particulars about it, but we do know that he cloned his dog. Rob has been telling me all day how weird this is that he did this. I'm not saying it's not weird, but I think this is very, very important to note. The average person doesn't have the money to clone their dog. I think a lot of people, if they just had $50,000 in loose pocket change, the way that Tom Brady makes that $50,000 by the first media timeout of his Fox job. That $50,000 is nothing to Tom Brady. I don't care about this. I love little Sophie. Sophie has been such an important member in our family, and we got an opportunity to keep Sophie alive. How much? $50,000? I sneeze at $50,000. He's probably paid for dinners that cost $50,000. I do think, Rob, in this commentary about Tom Brady and him cloning his little Fifi, his little dog, I don't think we're factoring in, the price that it costs to do this, and if the average person had access to this amount of money for this service, I think way more pet owners would do this than you are giving credit if they had a chance to keep their loving pet alive through cloning them.
You're probably right. More people would do this than I think if it was cheap. But it's weird by anyone. It is very odd behavior. And I am saying that as someone who is a very happy pet owner. I love my pet right now. He's 5 years old. I hope my dog lives a way, way long time. But when inevitably his time comes, because that's what happens to living things on Earth, I'm not going to think to myself, man, I wish I would have cloned him. That's weirdo behavior. I don't care if it costs $5, $15, $500, or $500 million. Cloning your dog is odd. Just accept that this is one of the things of life. Like, people and dogs and cats and whatever, they pass, and then you grieve, you mourn, and then you continue about your life. Cloning it is just sicko, weirdo, gross behavior by Tom Brady. And I don't care if it would be the norm if it's cheaper. It's weird.
I hear what you're saying. I really believe, I think a lot more people would clone their dog if it was financially feasible. But I get that everybody just doesn't have 50 G's laying around. So when your dog is about to die and it's at the end of its life, you just don't have the ability to prolong
just get
your
another dog.
He got one. He paid $50,000 for another dog.
I'm not talking about
he got the highest end designer dog.
I'm not talking about a clone of your dog. Go get another dog. You grieve, you mourn. I'm so sad. My 15-year-old, Labrador passed. Aw. Then you go buy a puppy and you restart the clock and you find, new moments and new experiences with this new puppy. Oh, I'm so sad we
Certainly
lost
cheaper.
Sally, but now I bought Sophie. I have two great dogs in my life. I just kept cloning the same dog over and over. In 15 years, if this dog is on its last legs, he's going to clone it again? It's just weird. Tom Brady's weird.
Coming up on the other side, the college football, the rankings that actually matter are out in college football. Rob says we can't talk about that because we're headed to another city. We're heading to Dallas, you told me. Dallas, Texas. We're going to find out about the Cowboys. They trade Micah Parsons. Then they trade for Quinnen Williams. Then they trade for a linebacker that can't even play in the Bengals defense. What is happening with the Cowboys? We'll find out together. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
FanDuel is putting you in control right from NBA tip-off because every day to start the season, you get to choose your reward. Take your shot with the Profit Boost token. You can play it cool with the no-sweat bet, or you can get a little backup with the Bet Back token. So what I like to do is I like to pick 3 players that I think are going to score at least 20 points. It gives you something to cheer for. It gives you something to root for. So you can put a little bit of extra sauce on it with the Profit Boot token, or you can just play it easy. You can play it relaxed with that no sweat bet. Whatever your pick is, whatever your strategy is, get into the game and play it your way. Head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ to make it your choice. FanDuel is an official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading land, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your local Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley has the machines to get it done. Lease the Cat 300.9 mini excavator for just $399 a month and take advantage of other limited-time demo and purchase incentives. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your Foley Equipment location or go to FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Men, if the long lines to the bathroom have been holding you back from attending sporting events and you're waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. Jeff Montgomery here to talk about the minimally invasive procedure I had that made a big difference. I went to Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. The procedure was quick and easy, and I'm very happy with the result. Don't put up with being uncomfortable. Contact Miva Medical. That's MIVA-medical.com.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Any size darn good coffee, just 99 cents with Casey's Rewards. Limited time only. See store for details.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24-monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 64.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
A little bit of breaking news. Fox has hired Mark Sanchez. They have hired Drew Brees to replace Mark Sanchez. You know, Mark Sanchez got in a little bit of legal trouble. They have hired Drew Brees in the interim to take his place. Something tells me that Mark Sanchez will not be back working at Fox. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by RJ Choppy. He covers the Dallas Cowboys. He is with 105.3 The Fan out in Big D. RJ, how you doing today, my man?
What's up, man? How we doing?
Doing fantastic. Let's start with this. What was the sentiment this morning on you guys' radio show when you opened up the phone lines and you heard from Cowboys fans? What was the sentiment about this move?
Well, I think the main sentiment was, and it's pretty clear, that they are a better football team today. Like, I think that's pretty obvious. Regardless of whether you like the trade, you don't like the trade, they're a better football team. There were a lot of people that were like, okay, this is good. I wanted them to do something. I wanted them to do anything. They're better today. That's good, but let's not give up on the season. There were a fair amount that were like, they gave up too much. You know, let's just stay the course, keep the draft picks. But everybody pretty much was like, okay, objectively, this is a good football player. Objectively, the team is better today. That's the sentiment.
If you could go back, do you think that fans would just undo the Micah Parsons trade and then not have this trade? It feels like in some ways they chose Quinnen Williams over Micah Parsons. I understand they got more compensation, so they still have some of what they got back from Micah Parsons, but they basically cut that in half to go get Quinnen Williams.
I think this is essentially what it is, and yeah, I think the fans would rather have Micah. I think the Cowboys actually might rather have Quinnen. You know, I don't know that the Cowboys called the Jets about Quinnen in the offseason, maybe moving Micah up there. I don't know. Maybe they did. But, yeah, I think most Cowboy fans, the way they presented it to us, would be like, all right, look, we would rather have Micah. Micah's a better player. If we can go back, we would just undo this whole thing. If you're going to give up a 1 and a 2 for Quinnen Williams, fine, but do it while Mike is here.
What's the frustration level right now with the defense? Because it is not ironic to me that the Cowboys trade their best defensive player. They have put together one of the worst defenses they've had in recent memory. And you're also looking at the defense right now for the Packers, and they might have the best defensive player in the league, certainly one of the favorites to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, dude, the defense is awful, and the Cowboys know it. The Cowboys' goal right now, they look at the offense and they're like, all right, this is an elite offense. So let's just try to get this defense to the 15th best defense in the league. I don't think you can do that. I don't think Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson bring you from 30th to 15th. Maybe if they had gotten Sauce Gardner too, that could have done well. But that like short of that, it's not going to happen. This is a move, you know, I think for next year and the year after. They're looking at the next couple of years with Dak Prescott, so that'll put them, you know, beyond the age of 35, I think, and that'll be the end of the contract for Quinnen Williams. And we'll see. I think that's their window. Their window right now is those 2.5 years.
Right now, we're talking to RJ Choppy for a couple more minutes here. He covers the Cowboys with 105.3 The Fan out in Dallas. RJ, you certainly have seen some lows. You've seen some embarrassing moments covering the Cowboys. Where does Monday Night Football rank? Because they got their boots smoked by the Cardinals.
Man, I'll tell you, that was awful. I came in on Tuesday morning. I was like, you know what? I was actually in a good mood. It was like, I am now free. I have allowed myself to be free. It was a great weekend. My college football team, Tennessee, lost. Now the Cowboys lost. Like, this is great. I can just enjoy football the rest of the year without being stressed without worrying about all this stuff. We also call that copium. That's a big dose of copium is what that was. That was an embarrassing game. To do that at home in front of Stephen A. Smith and Jerry's box was an embarrassing night. And I don't know that we were wondering, is this going to change Jerry's outlook on making a move? Is he now going to become, we're going to be gun shy here, we're not going to make moves? Certainly it wasn't.
RJ, I did like that 3 or 4 hours where we thought the big move was going to be getting Logan Wilson. Now, he ended up paying on it, but he was like kind of dropping these hints that he was going to make some big trade. And then the Logan Wilson trade happened, and seeing all the NFL media dump on the Cowboys, like, wait, hold on, this can't be the big trade. I did kind of enjoy those couple of hours.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Because we were wondering, who is this? Who is this player? Is this going to be some big name guy? Is it going to be somebody who's not? How do you keep it secret? Nobody keeps things secret anymore. How are the Cowboys able to keep the secret for 12 hours? More than 12 hours, 18 hours. I have no idea. But, yeah, we thought for a moment that was going to be it. And then when the Jets traded Sauce, it was like, ooh, okay, are they going to really blow this thing up? Because if they did, Breece Hall's name would be out there. And obviously Quinnen Williams is a name that you could throw out there too. If they're really going to blow it up. And that's the confusing thing for them. If you're going to make all these trades, why aren't you trading Breece Hall? I mean, my gosh, what do you need a running back for if you're going to be a one-win team?
RJ, last thing here. What's the Cowboys fan feeling on Jerry Jones? I feel like Cowboys fans go through like a love-hate relationship with Jerry Jones. It feels like a lot of the criticism has been louder this year ever since we saw how he handled the Micah Parsons situation. Where are they at right now with him?
They're not happy. They're not happy. I mean, they're glad that he made a move. His comments to Stephen A. about relevance really kind of irked them. They're not happy. They're not happy with the Micah trade. They're not happy with the fact that George Pickens isn't locked up long term. If they're not going to sign Pickens beyond this year, why wasn't he dealt? There's a lot of questions with Jerry. The fans are just not happy.
That is our guy, RJ Choppy, joining us on the show today. He covers the Cowboys. They made moves going to get Quinnen Williams. RJ, good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a good one.
Absolutely. That is RJ Choppy joining us on the show today. He covers the Dallas Cowboys. Rob, let's get to the college football playoffs, and we'll get back to the Chiefs coming up at the top of the hour. I don't have a lot of complaints about this first set of rankings that we have. It is kind of in line with how I think they operate. The one thing that really stands out to me is Notre Dame. I just don't know why. We just treat Notre Dame differently than we treat everybody else. They already have 2 losses. They don't really have many marquee wins, but right now they're firmly in the college football playoff. Virginia, right now, they'd be in it. They're the only ACC team, so obviously one team from that conference has to make it. A lot of these teams still play each other, so it's a little bit early on to be frustrated about where a team is seated, where they're not seated. I thought it was pretty interesting that they have Alabama as one of the top 4 teams in college football right now. But outside of that, nothing really stands out to me with the early rankings when it came to the college football playoff. Where are you at?
I mean, first off, maybe it should have stood out to me with Notre Dame, but me and you in the back have been talking about this, and college football fans have all kind of known this. Notre Dame's going to run the table. They're going to finish 10-2. They're going to make the playoff.
They always do this.
I mean, they're going to play a road game in the playoff this year. Like, they're going to be the 10 seed. They're going to have to go to Virginia or something. Like, okay, cool. Like, we know how the Notre Dame story is going to end. So, like, that should have surprised me, but it didn't because I kind of knew it was coming. The thing that surprised me,
they have one decent win this year.
And USC, it was USC.
They beat USC at home. Outside of that, I don't know why. I don't know how you can play 2 really good teams. You lost to both of those teams. You then can play one decent game the rest of the season, and you can make the college football playoff. Like, this is where I want everybody to be treated evenly. Missouri could not have this schedule be 10-2 and make the college football playoff, where you only beat one decent team all year and then you made the college football playoff. I just don't know why Notre Dame is allowed to operate outside of the parameters that we force every other team in college football to follow.
Yeah, like I said, it probably should have surprised me, but it didn't. The thing that surprised me, pleasant surprise, man, the Big 12 is in great position to get multiple teams. They have another team just outside looking in. Like, BYU and Texas Tech are in right now, and Utah is 13 in the country. They could easily end up being a team that makes it in the playoff. You're the Big 12. Last year you got 1 in Arizona State. You're now in a position to get 2. As a Big 12 fan, that makes me happy because now I feel like the conference is positioned to be part of this new world order the Big 10 and SEC have created. They have 2 teams that are 3 that are all right around making the playoffs.
Yeah, but you would have to factor in these 2 teams play each other, BYU and Texas Tech. They play each other this week.
Utah could then rise up. That's
100%.
Part of it too.
But then you would have to guess that one of those teams is going to pick up another loss because they got to play each other in the Big 12 championship game. That's where having a championship game kind of hurts you because BYU or Texas Tech is assured to pick up at least 1 loss, or Utah is assured to pick up 1 loss because you got to play each other down the road. So I think it's going to be tough to possibly get that extra team in, knowing how the schedule is going to line up. Who do you like this weekend between BYU and Texas Tech? I know we got some time to really get into it, but who do you like?
I like Tech. Their quarterback's back, and it feels like BYU's been flirting with disaster all season long. They've won, but they flirted with disaster.
Is it confirmed that Mahomes is going to do the college game day? He should. This is the time to do it.
It's not confirmed.
Bye week. It's in your city. You're a top 10 team.
They're wearing the special Mahomes Adidas jerseys this week. I mean, come on.
Mahomes. And I'm going to guess that he is at the game. Do college game day. Like, what are we doing? Do college game day. This is time for you to do it if you are him. Coming up at the top of the hour, let's get back to talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Fesco had a very interesting report about why the Chiefs didn't go pick up Breece Hall. We'll play it for you. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Get ready, Missouri. Kickoff is near. The world's largest sports book is coming to your fingertips. Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be. With high and transparent app limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Start betting like a pro in Missouri on December 1st. Learn about your new bookie today at circasports.com. The world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports launches December 1st.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Hey, football fans, tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti, where the guys break down the biggest headlines and storylines from across the NFL. Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti is brought to you by the Home Depot. You order, we deliver. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time. How pros get more done.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Fesco and Dusty, weekdays 6 to 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, I want to play this audio for you guys to begin the 3 o'clock hour. This is the best sports talk host in Kansas City, according to Pitch Magazine, dear friend of the show, Bob Fesco. And earlier today on his show, he had a report on why the Chiefs did not go grab Breece Hall for the Jets. Here's Fesco.
So they kind of have on their ledger where they're going to be next year when it comes to the money that they're going to spend, including projected extensions for Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice. And so they're looking at the number that they're going to have spent next year. They're looking at the money that is afforded to them by the owner. They're looking at money with the salary cap, and they're saying, okay, we're going to pay these two guys who are very, no pun intended, worthy of contract extensions and making these guys long-term members of this franchise. That means we're not going to have a lot of money to spend in free agency next offseason, right? We're not going to be able to go out there and spend money on other people's players because we're investing that money into our own players. So now that makes draft picks that much more important for the Kansas City Chiefs because they're not going to be able to go out and spend in free agency. So they know the only way that they're going to acquire new players for the most part next offseason is through the draft. And so those picks now have become more valuable to the Chiefs, knowing that they're not going to have a lot of play money in free agency to go out there, which in turn makes Breece Hall, they wanted a premier pick, a top 3 round pick for Breece Hall. The Chiefs, based on the draft capital that they have, were not willing to give up a quote-unquote first-day pick, a premier draft pick, to go get Breece Hall, who was a rental.
All right. Really good stuff from Bob. I have 2 main takeaways in hearing that audio. The first thing is the Chiefs do not anticipate spending a lot of money in free agency on pass rush. If they are, again, going to prioritize their own players like they did this past offseason when they paid the offensive line and they also spent money in the linebacker room, they don't sound like their plan is we got to go get another pass rusher opposite George Karlaftis. At least that's not what I just heard in that clip right there. Now, obviously, things change, plans change, but that's not what I heard based on what Bob is reporting. The second thing is, I don't have a problem with that logic when it comes to Breece Hall. If you only see him as a rental piece and you do not have a long-term plan for Breece Hall, trading a top 100 selection for Breece Hall is not a good use of your resources to me. And what I don't want to be in a cycle of every trade deadline thinking that the Chiefs should trade a third-round pick for something that they are missing. I don't think that is the best team-building exercise. I don't think that every November the plan needs to be, Brett Veach, we need this one thing. You need to be willing to trade a top 100 pick to go get it. I would like to go into next year's draft class having that top 100 pick asset, and then you see what you do with it. Maybe in round one, you want to trade up to really go get somebody that you like. You can wheel and deal and maneuver. You can't wheel and deal and maneuver if you've already given up all your poker chips. So I don't mind that philosophy when it comes to Breece Hall. I would have done exactly what the Chiefs did. I wouldn't have traded a day 2 pick. It's now the second day. I wouldn't have traded a top 100 pick. I wouldn't have traded a third-round pick for Breece Hall. I also wouldn't extend him this offseason if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. I would take that third-round pick, or better, because you can draft a running back in the second round too, and then I would just go find your running back for the future when you got a chance to start over. Everybody is on a one-year deal aside from Brashard Smith. Pacheco is a free agent at the end of this season. Elijah Mitchell is a free agent. Kareem Hunt is a free agent. Just start over. That's what I would do. That's number 2. Number 3, and lastly, I know that this puts me in the minority. I do not understand the rush to pay Rashee Rice. I don't get it. In year 2, the offseason, he got into a serious off-the-field issue. In the middle of his second season, he had a significant leg injury that he is just now getting back from and just now getting on the field. You still have another year of club control with Rashee Rice. You still have the franchise tag available to negotiate if you really want to keep Rashee Rice on the team. I don't understand the urgency. Now it's the first chance that you can pay him to throw in a bunch of money. I know we've had this talk before. I don't know why Rashee Rice would take less money. I don't know why at his age, if you think he's one of those guys, and I know the text line thinks he's one of those guys, I don't know why you're interested in a hometown discount if you're him. It just feels very, very premature to me to sign Rashee Rice. I just wouldn't do it. I'm not saying I would never sign Rashee Rice. I'm just not super interested in signing you to a long-term extension at the end of this upcoming season. Let's see how year 4 does. Do you stay healthy? Do you put up a big year? Do you stay out of trouble? How do you conduct yourself? How do you handle yourself? I would just see how year 4 goes, and then I would play it this way. The Chiefs are not 100% at extending guys early. They didn't do that with Chris Jones. They didn't do that with Trey Smith. So they didn't do that with Nick Bolton. We got plenty of examples that the Chiefs are willing to let contracts play themselves out, and then they agree at the end of them if they want to keep this player or not. I don't understand why there's such a rush to go sign Rashee Rice when he is 2 games coming off of a lengthy suspension and a very serious knee injury. Let's just play it out and see how the rest of this rookie contract goes.
I understand what you're saying, but this is not like early in my mind. This is the normal timeline for when you extend players. At the end of this season, going into the final year of your contract, you and I both know guys who go into the final year of their contract, they get extended the offseason before that year. It's not like you play this out to the very last minute. One of the reasons why, at least for me, I was so hard with the Chiefs on Trey Smith and Nick Bolton, man, it feels like they played it out until the 11th hour. Well, in the 11th hour, you lose a lot of your negotiating power. This is kind of the norm in the league. You have 1 year left on your deal. Now it's extension time. Now, I agree with you. I wouldn't be...
I hear what you're saying, though. I do hear what you're saying. But we have to acknowledge that this is in a different case. Right now, he hasn't had a 1,000-yard season. So that has to factor in. He hasn't had that big-time season yet.
To be fair, he had 900 yards in his...
It ain't 1,000. I'm sorry,
fair.
It's close. It ain't.
That's fair.
So he does not have a 1,000-yard season. He couldn't finish year 2 because of injury. He then couldn't start year 3 because of a suspension. I mean, I don't think he's getting 1,000 yards this season. If he does that, he has the greatest second half. He has a Cooper Kupp second half of the season if he gets there. So I hear what you're saying, but most of the time when we're having those conversations about paying guys, they got an all-pro under their belt. They got a couple of Pro Bowls under their belt. They got 1,100, 1,200 yards. They've put together one of those kind of seasons together. And then I'm happy to sit there and have the conversation with you. And maybe Rashee Rice gets there. Hey, year 4, he plays in 17 games. He puts up 1,300 yards. He has 9 touchdowns. And then you're happy to pay him that money. Do you think that he's earned an extension based on what he's done on the field yet? Because I don't think he's earned an extension yet based on what he's done on the field.
No.
Not that kind of extension. I don't think he's earned the extension that we are talking about. I don't think he has earned an extension that will warrant him being one of the 10 highest paid receivers in the league, because that's what it would cost.
So it's a weird thing for me and Rashee Rice, because I, on the one hand, think if you're going to do it, now is the time to do it, just timeline-wise. But I agree with you. I don't know I would do it based on what he's done on the field. And that's not to say he's not a good wide receiver. I think he is a good wide receiver. I just don't know he's worthy of a great contract. Now, if you believe he will play himself into that great contract, if you're Brett Veach and you're saying, hey, he was basically a 1,000-yard guy in year 1. We think he was going to be a 1,000-yard guy in year 2. He had a great season in year 3, but was nixed by suspension. If we get a full season of him at his peak of his powers, he's a 1,000-yard guy, and we're paying for what we think he can be, I understand that logic, but it is a little bit odd to me that you're paying for what you believe a player can do as opposed to what he has done, especially for a second contract. So I don't know I would pay him because you haven't seen the eye-popping accolades yet, but I think timeline-wise, where me and you differ, if you're going to do it, you kind of have to do it now.
Yeah, and I guess maybe where I would kind of push back a little bit, because this is the thing. CDOT, if you wait an extra year for Rashee Rice, it's going to cost you way more money. I mean, I guess, but I think we also have to be realistic about the range of the contract that we're talking about. I mean, right now, the ceiling is Jamar Chase. There's nothing that can happen at the end of this season that would make me think he should make as much money as Jamar Chase. He's making $40 million a year. Justin Jefferson's making $35. CeeDee Lamb. These guys have proven more. They are better receivers, in my opinion, than where he is. So if I had to say right now, the only deal I would even contemplate signing him to is Jameson Williams' contract. Jameson Williams making $26 million a year. I would say that's a fair contract. Jameson Williams is probably not one of the top 10 receivers. He's probably not one of the top 15 receivers in the league, but he is a really good number 2 receiver who would be a number 1 on a lot of different teams. But then when you go up from there, I mean, there's a pretty big jump once you start getting there. Are you comfortable paying Rashee Rice what Garrett Wilson's contract is? Garrett Wilson making $32 million a year. So if we're going to say it saves you money, what amount are we talking about? And if you are willing to roll the dice, like right now, if you're willing to sign him to Brandon Ayuk's contract, which is $30 million, I would say that that's what he's probably going to get next year if he ends up being really good anyway. Like, the market for wide receiver is just kind of set at the top. So, yeah, you save yourself a little bit of money, but I don't think you save yourself $20 or $30 million if you roll the dice for one extra year with Rashee Rice. I think you save yourself like maybe $8 to $12 million, which would be worth it to me to see him stay healthy, stay out of trouble, and put up one of those monster seasons.
I will say this, though. I think there's more at play than just his singular contract. I think there's a lot because, as Fesco pointed out in that cut, Trent McDuffie's contract is also coming. And me and you are, or at least I don't want to speak for you, I am 100% team re-sign Trent McDuffie.
You already know I'm on paid corner. You know that.
I felt like. So 1,000% we're on the same page there. His timeline is now similar too. So it's not just, hey, we're going to pay the Jameson Williams contract or Rashee Rice. Look how much money we saved. If you get that contract done early, maybe that small amount of savings, which is something, that small amount of savings now can be put toward a Trent McDuffie deal, which we think is going to be the larger contract anyway that the Chiefs have to get done. So that savings isn't exactly, lining the coffers. Maybe they're doing the savings because they have to spend it somewhere else because McDuffie is going to be more expensive.
Yeah, someone just said, CDOT, what if the Chiefs give him a contract that's heavy with incentives? I just don't know why Rashee Rice would sign that kind of contract. That's just not what wide receivers are doing in the National Football League. Like, if I'm him, there's no chance I'm taking less than Jameson Williams' contract. Let me pull up Jameson's what the extensions were. So Jameson Williams got 3 years, $83 million, and he got $67 million in guarantees. So if I'm Rashee Rice, why am I taking chances on what I can be? Give me the $60 million guaranteed. I think that's a fair contract for Rashee Rice. I'm not interested in paying him much more than that. Not right now. I think that's the maximum I would do for him is Jameson Williams' deal. If you look at Jameson Williams' first couple of seasons, you look at the numbers and the stats, I think they're fairly comparable. I think Rice is the better receiver than he is. I don't think it's a big difference between those two. That's a fair contract if he's willing to agree to that right now. I'm not willing to pay you much more than that because I also don't know if it's going to cost you a lot more than that if he's willing to roll the dice and if he's willing to play this out for a little bit longer.
I would sign him to James Williams' contract. I also say, and this is kind of related to your point, one thing I think we always forget in these conversations is the agent and Rashee Rice have a feeling of what they're worth, and they're not going to take 80 cents on the dollar just for the 80 cents on the dollar. So it's possible in the negotiation, the Chiefs walk to Rashee Rice and they say, hey, here's the James Williams contract, done, and done. And they say, no, we don't want that. We want Garrett Wilson's contract. We feel like we're more like Garrett Wilson. Then there is no savings to be had. Then it's just you're spending the premium. But I am always team get it done early versus get it done late, because when you're doing it late, you're negotiating against everyone at that point. Right now, you're only negotiating against yourself.
Someone on the text line asked this question. Rashee Rice is likely only to get one dynamic contract at his age. How do we know that he won't sit out? I don't think it makes any financial sense for Rashee Rice to sit out. He hasn't made real NFL money yet. And I'm just going to guess. I'm going to guess that some of that money, you spent a significant amount of it to get yourself out of the legal issue that you put yourself into. So how much cash flow are we talking about if you're Rashee Rice? You were a second-round pick. It's not like we think endorsements are just coming in out of the wazoo for Rashee Rice. We think he got money to take a $30,000 a day hit to sit out of training camp. I don't think he has that kind of cash. I would call his bluff every single day if he's not here at work. No, we're not paying you yet. Come to work. That's what we're do. Come to work is how we're going to handle this. So I just wouldn't do it. I would pay Trent McDuffie, and I would just see how it goes with Rashee Rice. I would just see how next year goes. Play out the rest of this year, help us get back to another Super Bowl, ball out in 2026, and we are happy to have this conversation at the end of the year and pay you appropriately to what you have done on the field. Coming up on the other side, we'll continue talking about the trade deadline in the National Football League. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
FanDuel is putting you in control right from NBA tip-off, because every day to start the season, you get to choose your reward. Take your shot with the Profit Boost token. You can play it cool with the no-sweat bet, or you can get a little backup with the Bet Back token. So what I like to do is I like to pick 3 players that I think are going to score at least 20 points. It gives you something to cheer for. It gives you something to root for. So you can put a little bit of extra sauce on it with the Profit Boot token, or you can just play it easy. You can play it relaxed with that no sweat bet. Whatever your pick is, whatever your strategy is, get into the game and play it your way. Head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ to make it your choice. FanDuel is an official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with autopay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after
after this.
It's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Hi, I'm Nick. And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box so that family memories would be safe and could always be enjoyed together.
And starting now, we're offering listeners early access to our best deal of the year during our $9 tape sale.
1 million families and counting have trusted Legacy Box to convert their aging media because Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your videotapes, film reels, and photos aren't protected unless they're on a digital format.
With the holidays approaching, don't wait. Simply fill your Legacy Box. We'll take care of the rest.
It's the most meaningful thing you can do this holiday season, and the perfect time during our best sale of the year.
Visit legacybox.com/value to get early access to our Black Friday sale and digitize your memories for only $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/value. legacybox.com/value.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons? 1, it's easy. 2, it's fast. 3, the results.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by DM Injury Law. You've got a crash headed into Shawnee 35 southbound at Lamar. Right lane is blocked. Other side of things, that's a crash. And that's 70 eastbound just past Blue Ridge cutoff. Right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
I want to answer this text. I understand the principle of it. I think it's a little bit misguided in the conversation that we are having. So if you missed it, I'll play it for you one more time. Bob Fescoe has a report on why the Chiefs didn't get Breece Hall. Here's the audio from Fescoe.
So they kind of have on their ledger where they're going to be next year when it comes to the money that they're going to spend, including projected extensions for Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice. And so they're looking at the number that they're going to have spent next year. They're looking at the money that is afforded to them by the owner. They're looking at money with the salary cap, and they're saying, okay, we're going to pay these 2 guys who are very, no pun intended, worthy of contract extensions and making these guys long-term members of this franchise. That means we're not going to have a lot of money to spend in free agency next offseason, right? We're not going to be able to go out there and spend money on other people's players because we're investing that money into our own players. So now that makes draft picks that much more important for the Kansas City Chiefs because they're not going to be able to go out and spend in free agency. So they know the only way that they're going to acquire new players for the most part next offseason is through the draft. And so those picks now have become more valuable to the Chiefs, knowing that they're not going to have a lot of play money in free agency to go out there, which in turn makes Breece Hall, they wanted a premier pick, a top 3 round pick for Breece Hall. The Chiefs, based on the draft capital that they have, were not willing to give up a quote-unquote first-day pick, a premier draft pick, to go get Breece Hall, who was a rental.
So that was Fescoe in his report. I like Rashee Rice. I think he is a very good wide receiver. I would just not be in a rush to pay him quite yet. I let him have a 1,000-yard season. I let him be an all-pro. I let him be healthy. I wouldn't play it this way. A lot of people have been saying this, CDOT, you always pay for what you think they are going to do. Paying them for what they've done is stupid. That makes sense to me if we are talking about a third contract. But we're talking about the second contract. We're talking about the first time that you got to make a decision. Is this somebody that you want as a long-term option for your organization? Because right now you are getting a steal for Rashee Rice. I don't care what has happened off the field, how much they are paying Rashee Rice as opposed to the production they are currently getting from Rashee Rice. It is not close. They have him on a 4-year, $6.4 million contract. He is making nothing by NFL standards right now. Nothing at this point. So you have the opportunity to burn all of that up, all of the rookie deal, and then you make a decision on if you want him. So it's always a balance between the two. You put up big-time numbers in your rookie season. We are rewarding you for how good you were under your rookie contract. And obviously, the expectation is that you'll continue to be a great player. When you paid Creed Humphrey the money, you were a great center. We expect you to continue to be a great center. When you paid Trey Smith, hey, we want to keep the best interior offensive lineman in the league. We expect that to continue. But right now, me advocating that they run out to pay a receiver who has never made a Pro Bowl, never been All-Pro, never had 1,000 yards, and now being like they should run to make him a top 10 highest paid receiver in the league, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me yet. Let's let him earn the deal. Ball out, put up a great season, and then we can go from there. That's how I would handle it if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to head to Indianapolis here coming up in just a little bit. Let's talk a little bit of Royals baseball before we do that. Rob, have you seen this? Is it a survey that the Royals have? Is it a questionnaire? I don't know what it is, but the Royals have sent out some documents that they want season ticket holders and fans to fill out. Now, I think it gives us insight into a couple of different things. The first thing is it confirms what we already know. There's only 3 realistic locations for the Royals. There's 3. It's 119th and all. It's downtown Kansas City. It's Clay County, North Kansas City. They are not going to the Legends. They are not staying where they're at. There are 3 possible locations for the Royals. We will figure out in the end where they end up going. And I also noticed something about this as I was reading through this thing. Everything about this for the last year and a half has been, why didn't you just do this from the beginning? Remember when the Royals were doing those town halls where they were going around the city to different places and they were sitting down at the library and talking to people and trying to, educate and inform the community on this process, because that's very important. Rob, why didn't they have a questionnaire like that from the very, very beginning? Like, why didn't they have more of our input on where we want the stadium to be? It's like they just decided where the stadium was going to be and was like, here, even though we don't have all the plans completely figured out, you give us your money and then trust us that we'll figure it out. Why didn't they do some of this legwork from the very, very beginning? Hey, these are the 4 or 5 places that we're thinking about. Why don't we engage the community? Why don't we ask more questions? Why don't we get all of our ducks in a row and do the 2-year work or 3-year work on the front end? And then when we feel very strongly about it, then we'll come to the public with the vote. I feel like they wanted our money first, and then they were going to figure out all the particulars. And then the community pushed back and said, no, why don't you do the work and then come back to us? Now they're doing all the things that they should have done last year.
Listen, I'm not in the business of, putting a cape on and defending the Royals. But is it possible one of the reasons they did the timeline this way is because before they went to the vote, they could only float Jackson County locations because they were up against an extension of a sales tax timeline. Now they have the whole city, the whole region at their disposal to do the research and now circle back to fans. Here's the 3 decisions. Like, they couldn't in 2024, like March, be like, hey, what do you guys think of 119th and all? Well, we don't think anything about it. We're paying a sales tax in Jackson County. So I think their original plan was, hey, we're going to get the sales tax extended and we're going to have the stadium in Jackson County, and then we're going to have a pretty good idea of location and we're just going to go from there. And now they're maybe being a little more diligent because they have a little more information. They have a little more, area to choose from, where in the past it was, where in Jackson County do we want the stadium?
It feels to me like all of that hard work just should have been done from the very, very beginning. And I know that we have blamed a million different people for why the thing didn't fail, but I think the Royals are showing you, I don't think the Royals were ready to take our money last year. I just don't think they were ready to take our money. I know they were asking for it, and I wish we weren't going through this. I really don't. I want them to make a decision on where the stadium is going to be too. But, I mean, this thing failed in April of 2024, and now in November of 2025, now they're sending out a questionnaire on how we feel. You should have asked us this from the very, very beginning. I mean, I guess we told you how we feel. The answer was a resounding no. We don't like your original plan. Please try again. Now we'll see if the Royals try again. I mean, there are a couple of different options that they could potentially not have a vote. But if one of their plans is to put the stadium in North Kansas City, it would require a vote. So gathering information, figuring out what we feel, that just would have been a better plan from the very, very beginning. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Kevin Bowen. He's with 107.3 The Fan out in Indianapolis. The Colts right now, they have the best record in the AFC, and they just picked up Sauce Gardner via trade. Kevin, how you doing, my man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely, man. Let's just start with this. There's been a lot of questions around the league, certainly here in Kansas City. Are the Colts for real? You watch this team, you cover this team, you follow this team. Do you think the Colts are real?
Yeah, I think offensively it's pretty hard to argue against. I know they didn't come off a great performance by any means against Pittsburgh, but pretty historic the numbers they've put up so far this season. I am curious in general about the second half of their season. The schedule is definitely tougher. Started with Pittsburgh last week. They'll have, Kansas City coming out of the bye here in a few weeks. They go to Seattle. So, those are some, teams, venues that are just different than what they've faced so far. So that's an element. Obviously, the Gardner trade, their pass defense to me wasn't at a January level. The thought there is, certainly you get one of the elite corners in the league and, it'll aid your pass rush a little bit. So that was, quite the swing. And, right now when you view an AFC where potentially some people think the door is cracked, is this your time to try and take advantage of that? So they definitely been one of the surprise teams so far. Again, offensively pretty historic and quite the swing yesterday from a trade standpoint.
So let's talk about the trade from two different perspectives because I think there's multiple ways of looking at it. The first way of looking at it is I think the Colts are telling you who their at least long-term plan is at quarterback. If you trade both of your first-round picks, you think you have your quarterback on your roster. Like, you think Daniel Jones is the answer. Do you think that's the right play? Do you think the Colts should be committing this early, this soon to Daniel Jones, at least for the next 18 months?
Yeah, correct. I guess to start there, yes. I think this move definitely indicates that they think Daniel Jones is their future. Yeah, to me, it's a little dangerous game to play, 2 months into an era, if you want to call it that. I mean, it's kind of crazy how 2 months ago, I think the general thought was, Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen were on hot seats and, Anthony Richardson would have one more year to play it out, and then that's it. And now all of a sudden it's like, wait, should you build the Daniel Jones statue next to Peyton Manning or on the other side of Lucas Oil Stadium? That's just kind of how fans react here. So, in an ideal world, I think you probably wouldn't be giving up your next 2 first-round picks. But, when premium position players at the age of 25 become available and, again, you feel like the door might be a little cracked, and obviously any sort of AFC run you get on, you're going to have to go through quarterbacks that, obviously have the names of Mahomes and Allen and Herbert and those sorts of guys. Drake May maybe is starting to become one of those guys. You're going to need to be better at that position. So, there are some elements to this that I don't think it's 2022 Daniel Jones when he did this with New York. That was a heavy kind of run Daniel Jones. He was really kind of a dual threat guy. And for the most part, he's been really just delivering from the pocket. But, yeah, there is, a little pause I have. But, the nature of the quarterback game is, when you think you even have maybe the guy and he's in the last year of his contract, if you don't spend on him, somebody will. And you certainly know if Daniel Jones hit the open market next year, there'd be quite the suitors for him.
It's really an interesting dynamic that the Colts have because they have a new owner that is really trying to be hands-on, and I really appreciate what she's done so far. The press conferences on the sideline, like, you can tell that she is trying to learn as much about this process as she can. You then couple that with everybody wants to leave their own mark. Everybody wants to leave their thumbprints on something now that you own the team. And you also got a general manager where if you look at football right now, you are just one cold streak away from everybody saying that you should be fired. When you get both of those things together, you get a big aggressive move, and that's what the Colts did, going to go get Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, and I think so much of this has to do with their position right now within the AFC of Chris Bauer, their GM, has now been there for 9 years, came over from Kansas City. And, they had made one in-season trade in its first 8 years. And if you looked at their records at the deadline, they never sniffed this. More often than not, they were looking up at the lowliest division in the AFC, in the AFC South, whereas now you're 7-2, again, from a point differential. Really, it's been historic what they have done so far. That's a time where you become a big-time buyer. And, I don't even really think Sauce Gardner was a name floated around from a trade deadline standpoint. But when you throw in 2 first-round picks, A.D. Mitchell was a second-round wideout from last year. That's going to get guys to maybe call you back or, hang on the line a little bit longer here. And you caught the Jets at the right time, too, clearly, with their fire sale. So you add all that up, and, to steal a phrase from Jim Irsay, all chips are in, really. And now we'll see it plays out. Typically there is a stepping stone to playoff success. And if you look at the AFC, obviously, we've had the same Final Four teams each of the last 2 years. And we'll see if the Colts are positioned this year to, be one of those Final Four this year.
And that's the other side of this. Right now, we're talking to Kevin Bowen with 103.7 The Fan in Indianapolis. The Colts make the trade to go out and get Sauce Gardner. I think if you're the Colts, it is understandable why you would be aggressive. The Chiefs, at least so far through the first 9 games, don't look like the same dominant team that they've been over the last handful of years. Baltimore right now sits at 3-5. You don't have to worry about going through Joe Burrow. And it feels like this is a little bit of a different AFC, where I think the Colts are looking at it where, what if there is a chance that we only have to play Buffalo or Kansas City and we could have one of those teams at home? Like, if we play the 4 seed and then we play one of those 2 teams at home, you got to feel good about your chances at home in the AFC Championship in what likely would be a coin flip kind of game. So we're going to push our chips in the middle of the table to try to find somebody who could potentially neutralize Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. I maybe think that the Colts gave up too much to go get Sauce Gardner, but I certainly understand the logic and the intention behind going to get him.
Yeah, and honestly, I can see it from really both franchises. It was one of those rare occurrences yesterday, which, be careful what you are, scrolling through on social media. But, it seemed like both franchises felt pretty good about what their teams did. And, the Jets obviously are in a clear rebuild. Whereas the Colts, and you just laid out the AFC, they look at it and think, well, with only one bye, if you can get that one bye and then, again, get guys, to come to your dome to try and make it to the Super Bowl, maybe it will be different. Now, I've lived this NFL world just like anyone else has lived the NFL world over the last handful of years. Getting through Allen and Mahomes sounds good on paper, but, actually doing it when the playoffs arise is a whole different animal. And playoff success for this franchise has been lacking. For those that haven't been totally plugged into the Colts, they haven't won a division title in 10 years, which is kind of crazy when you think about the AFC South as a whole. They've won 1 playoff game in that time frame. And they're currently in a 4-year playoff drought, which is, one of the longest in the NFL with, playoff expansion happening, that typically teams don't go this long without a playoff appearance there. So I think when you add all of that up, yes, there's a natural sense of urgency. And then you couple it with, wait a minute, 7-2. Again, maybe the door is cracked a little bit to where, Mahomes and Allen might be playing on the road in the wild card round, which is not something we've had. Maybe this is the opportunity where all the dominoes align to kind of go ahead and try to make this move.
I was really clamoring for Jonathan Taylor to get some MVP buzz in consideration. I hate the fact that we have just determined that only quarterbacks can win the award. But, man, you can't go 14 carries for 45 yards and don't score a touchdown against the Steelers defense, and then I can't come on here and argue that he should be the MVP right now.
Yeah, it definitely was a step back in that hype, after so much of it leading into the game. It's funny, we've obviously had this debate in our market recently, and obviously there's a huge quarterback bias to the award. We had a listener reach out and say instead of MVP, it should be MOP. Because if you just literally went off the acronym MVP, well, then a quarterback's going to win it every time. I'd say this about virtually any NFL team. If I told you and you have the Jonathan Taylor equivalent at running back, you'd rather take your chances with your second-string running back in a game versus your second-string quarterback in a game. That's just the value of that position. But if you went most outstanding player, now maybe we get Travis Hunter winning the Heisman, or we get Derrick Henry, getting some votes recently. I mean, it's wild to think, we've had Triple Crown winners. We've had Jamar Chase. We've had Cooper Kupp. And yet you've got to go back all the way to, 2017 with Todd Gurley for the last time we've seen a running back get a vote. Not win the award. That's Adrian Peterson in 2012. Just get a vote. again, you got to go all the way back to Gurley, almost a decade ago. So, to me, when you look at the Colts, yes, is Taylor the most valuable player on the Colts? No, I mean, it is probably Jones. But when you talk about the best player so far this season, yes, I do think it is the running back.
I'll get you out of here with this last question. I'm not sure if gambling is legal in Indiana or not, but right now on FanDuel, you can get the Colts to be the 1 seed in the AFC at plus 340. If I gave you a free $100 bet, do you think the Colts will be the 1 seed in the AFC?
Ooh, that is a good one. It is legal, by the way. I'm going to say no. If I had to pair up their schedule next to New England's the rest of the way, I want to say New England's a little bit tamer. Again, they still have to go Atlanta and Berlin coming up on Sunday. Then their bye week at Kansas City, at Jacksonville. They still have Houston twice. They still have San Francisco. They go to Seattle. So I'm going to say New England's got a little bit of the easier schedule the rest of the way. I think the AFC West will beat each other up too much. So I'll say the Patriots are the 1 seed, which was a crazy thought 2 months ago as well.
Well, you can get the Patriots right now plus 500. Buffalo, they are the favorite at plus 140 to be the 1 seed in the AFC. That is Kevin Bowen joining us on the show with 107.3 The Fan in Indianapolis. Kevin, we'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks whenever Indianapolis comes to town, comes to Arrowhead.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man. That is Kevin Bowen joining us on the show. Rob, I know we don't have a lot of time. If the Colts are not the 1 seed in the AFC, we don't have to take them seriously. This Colts team needs to play fewer playoff games than everybody else. They also need all home games. That's the only way I can take them seriously. I'm just not. If you're telling me you're picking the Colts potentially on the road at Buffalo or Kansas City in the postseason, absolutely not. There is no chance I'm taking them in that scenario. So this Colts team, if they want to be taken seriously as contenders, they better be the 1 seed in the AFC. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. You know, confidence is key. You hear that all the time when it comes to everything in your life. The players that we watch and all the winning that we see comes from players who are confident and are able to deliver when it matters most. What if you could be more confident where it counts? I'm talking about Blue Chew. They provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Day nights just got longer and better for everyone. Be ready when she is. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. This isn't just about performance. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's an offer for you there. You get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 in shipping. That's it. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Thank you, KC, for voting Century Roofing the best roofing company in the Metro in the Stars 2025 KC Favorites competition. After 35 years, we're giving back to you by extending our free material upgrade sale through the end of the year. Get a free upgrade to impact-resistant shingles with any roof replacement for better protection and possible insurance savings. Trust the best, Century Roofing. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com for your free estimate today.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Century Roofing, we've got you covered, KC.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Stay comfortable year-round with fast, reliable service 24/7, even weekends and holidays. Already invested in repairs? Save up to $4,500 on a new HVAC system. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Anthony Plumbing, technicians you can trust with your house keys. Big backups on 35. The wreck is southbound 35 at Lamar, off to the right shoulder. A lot of onlooker delay. Other side of things, you've got a crash 70 eastbound just past Blue Ridge cut off. Right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
All right. I want to tell you guys a story and give you an update on something that is happening in my life. I feel like it is time for me to have some home ownership. I've been paying rent this whole time. I'm getting a little older. I'm getting closer to 40. I need more space. I need another bedroom. It is just time for me to leave my first apartment. So, Rob, you know, after the show, I've been looking around. I've been on the Zillow. Remember, I told you that guy tried to finesse me and tried to get me to sign up with his little realty company when I had never met the man before, and I said no. So, one of my really close friends, she's a realtor, so her and I have been going around and visiting these places. So, Rob, I thought I found the place that I was looking for. I thought I was done. And you know what happened? I went on Google and I read the reviews. And let me tell you, Rob, the reviews of the building, it was not positive. It was not something I was excited about. And then my friend, she called like her other realtor friend and was like, oh, well, I know somebody that owned a condo in there, so I want you to talk to him. It was the most negative Yelp review I've ever heard in my entire life. So now I'm back at square one. I remember I told you a couple days ago, I thought I had found it. I was already looking up stuff and all. I was excited about this process. Now I don't need to be excited. So one of my close friends, her name is Shannon, we have been going through and looking at other ones and like which ones I can afford and which ones I can't afford. So Rob, let me tell you, I saw this one yesterday. I went to go tour it. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. And then I saw how much it was. And you told me not to go. You told me not to visit this place and not to see it for the reason I feel now. I probably can't afford this thing, but God, I want it. And then I was talking to my financial guy and he's like, I mean, you could, but he was like, I don't want you to be house poor. I just keep hearing this term. Why don't people want me to live my best life? I finally found the one. This whole time I've been looking and touring and going all around the city and places I think I want to live. And then I finally find the one, Rob, and nobody wants to encourage me. Nobody wants to help me out. I need positivity. I need encouragement. Rob, you didn't give me any encouragement when I told you this story earlier today. I got no encouragement from you. Why do you not want me to be happy?
I did not give you encouragement. I told you the truth. You should have never looked at that place. You got to stay in your lane. If you are a person who can only afford to live in a certain part of town, don't wander around Holbrook. Ooh, these houses look nice. That's a mistake.
I looked at the Holbrook condo, so I looked at it yesterday. I was sitting there looking around. I was blown away at what I was doing. Honestly, I was blown away by what I was looking at. And I was like, this is it. I have fallen in love with the place in my own mind. And now I'm sitting there talking like, can we move this around? I mean, I know deep down I can't, but I just want somebody to tell me yes, when all I've gotten for the last 12 hours have been a series of no's. That's not what I want.
I mean, I
want you to be my friend and tell me yes.
I want you to have that place. I also don't want you to take the bus to work every day.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't want you to call them in and be like, hey, can you take the streetcar from my new condo to my work? Because I can't afford anywhere else to get there.
No, that's fair. No, I hear what you're saying. Someone says, CDOT, if you're willing to move to Kansas, I'm telling you right now, I have less than a 0% desire of living in the state of Kansas. 0%. There is no chance, none. There is no chance that I will be living in the state of Kansas. None. I'd rather just stay where I'm at. I'm cool. I'm all right. Y'all got it. Y'all got it over there. Rob, you like living over there?
I'm a huge fan of living in Kansas.
What would get you to live in Missouri?
I don't know if there would be anything that moved me to the Missouri side. I'm happy with where I'm at. It's also something where my wife's work, it's easier to live on the Kansas side. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to be a Kansan through and through.
I could probably afford this place. I got to start charging more for commercials. That's what I got to start doing. I got to start telling FanDuel I got a new rate. That's what I got to start telling FanDuel. The other place, hey, this ain't working out. I got to go to the other place. That's what I got to start doing, Rob.
You should do that, and then I'll swim in your wake. My rate is his old rate.
Yeah, no, that's nasty work. I can't believe you would do that.
Listen, Gates, he's crazy for going this new number. My
crazy.
number is this number, and you know I love barbecue.
I can't believe you would do that, man. We supposed to be boys. I can't believe you would do that. So the trade deadline is come and gone. This is it. This is the team. This is the one that the Chiefs have. Coming up at the top of the hour, I'm going to ask you guys this question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are you about the Chiefs not winning their division? Because you remember, Brad called the show yesterday and said, I don't understand this Chiefs panic. The Chiefs are 5-4 right now. So far through the first 10 weeks of the season, they have played like the third best team in their division. Now, they play 3 games against the teams that are ahead of them, so you can very easily make this ground up. On a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are you about the Chiefs not winning the AFC West and going on the road for the entire NFL playoffs? We've also been talking about Breece Hall, who had a chance of playing for the Chiefs, but he still plays for the Jets.
with Breece Hall, there was an offer on the table for a 4th-round pick from Breece Hall. I was told that it was from the Kansas City Chiefs that were willing to trade for Breece Hall. The Jets were steadfast in wanting a 30. So they wanted a 3rd-round pick for Breece Hall. They were not able to get one, only had a 4th-round offer.
So that was Connor Hughes. He covers the New York Jets, and he said that the Chiefs offered up a 4th-round pick for Breece Hall. Rob, are you more surprised that the Chiefs offered up a 4th-round pick for Breece Hall, or that the Jets didn't have an interest in taking a 4th-round pick for Breece Hall? Because there is a small part of me that is a little bit surprised that the Chiefs, for the first time in 2025, were willing to admit that there was a problem at running back. They have not been willing to admit there was a problem the entire year at running back. They have not been willing to admit that. But them willing to make a trade for Breece Hall is telling you we think it's a talent issue. We don't think it's an offensive line issue. We think we don't have the guy. And going to get Breece Hall means you have the guy. That would have meant no more Isaiah Pacheco and no more Brashard Smith than trying to give him carries. We got Breece Hall and we got Kareem Hunt as our short yardage back, and that's the plan moving forward. So there is a part of me that is surprised they at least were very interested in trying to improve the running back room, because they have not shown that. They haven't shown that in any of the 11th months in 2025.
I'm far more surprised the Jets said no than I am the Chiefs offered a 4th. Because remember, the Chiefs have a bonus 4th as part of the Joe Tooney deal. So I understand why the Chiefs felt we have a surplus of 4ths, have one, we'll take Breece Hall. I'm surprised the Jets said it's 3rd or nothing, because it might be literally nothing for the Jets in 3 months.
Yeah, let's talk about this more on the other side. And I want to continue to ask this question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are you about the Chiefs not winning the AFC West? It is a legitimate question on whether or not they are going to represent the AFC West in the postseason. We'll get to that. We'll also continue this conversation about Breece Hall, because I am a little bit surprised that the Chiefs were finally ready to admit that they have a problem in the running back room, because they just haven't been willing to have that conversation yet this season. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Crash 70 eastbound just past Blue Ridge cutoff, causing big delays. Everything off to the right shoulder, and you should be in the clearing stages here pretty soon. Towards Shawnee, 35 southbound at Lamar, this wreck off to the right shoulder. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 913-890-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Right now we've got incredible savings on the new 2025 Ford lineup. Drive home a brand new Escape Hybrid starting under $29,000. Folks, these Escape Hybrids let you charge if you want and get over 100 miles per gallon combined fuel economy. Or if you don't want to plug it in, you still get over 40 miles per gallon on gas only. You choose how you want to drive it. Looking for adventure? Check out the 2025 Bronco Sport starting under $29,000, or lease one for just $399 per month with zero down. Need something with more space? We've got the new Explorer and the Expedition ready for your next family road trip. And truck fans, you can lease a new F-150 Crew Cab 4-wheel drive STX for zero down and just $499 a month. Don't forget the Ford Maverick, roomy, versatile, and starting under $30,000. It's big on value, fits right in your garage, and drives like a dream. So visit us today at the Legends in KCK or online at victoryfordkc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Lease payments plus tax, title, and license. See dealer for details.
You know, there's millions of people without the health insurance they need. I get it. You feel like it's too pricey, a headache to deal with. You deserve something better. And better health. We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality, affordable health insurance. You have health insurance needs. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums, with in-network preventive care at no cost to you, and a network of local doctors and hospitals. So if you're still shopping for health insurance, go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll to get your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Find the plan that's right for you right now. ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Every now and then I rinse it out, and I need Downy Rinse tonight, and I need it more. My kid was the bed and the smell never leaves. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. The sweat in that short smells like a dog park. Downy Rinse it tonight.
Downy Rinse fights stubborn odors in just one wash. When impossible odors get stuck in,
Rinse it out.
Hey y'all, it's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. Spent a lot of time pitching heat. Years later, the pain in my joints remind me of those days, but I'm not looking to sit still, and I definitely am not interested in going under the knife. That's why I chose QC Kinetics.
Not just for elite retired athletes. QC Kinetics gives everyday folks joint pain relief using regenerative treatments that work with your body to help repair joint damage.
No surgery, no long recovery, whether it's your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. My friends at QC Kinetics will help you get moving again so you can get back to doing the things you love.
QC Kinetics medical professionals will look at your x-rays or MRI to determine if you're a good candidate.
I trusted QC Kinetics to help me feel like myself again, and I'm proud to recommend them to you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, we're kind of bouncing around topics here, and that's okay. Let's conclude the Breece Hall, and then we'll talk more about the Chiefs in the division. One thing I think that NFL fans and media people don't understand are compensatory picks. For example, Rob, do you know what pick the Titans got for Derrick Henry? Because the Titans lost Derrick Henry in free agency, right? He signed with the Ravens. Do you know what pick the Titans got?
I'm going to guess it's low, so 5th round?
They didn't get one.
Oh, well, there you go.
You want to know what pick the Giants got for Saquon Barkley?
They not get one?
They didn't get one. Because it's a formula based on you signing players, you losing players. They then throw it all up into the pot, and then you go from there. So this notion that, A, if you're the Jets, that you are 100% going to get a compensatory pick for losing Breece Hall is not true. It's not true. You could get one, but what do you do in free agency? How active are you? Who do you sign? Who leaves your team? It is all part of a formula. So it is possible that the 4th round pick that they were reportedly offered for Breece Hall is the best possible compensation that they could have got. You could be left with nothing at the end of it. Now, I think that this signifies that they are going to sign him in the offseason. I don't know why you would turn down the 4th round pick if you've already made a decision that you're not going to pay him in the offseason. It would make sense to me if you're the Jets and you keep Breece Hall. You paid Garrett Wilson. You keep Breece Hall next year. You draft Ty Simpson in the top 5. And now you have your foundation. You have your offense moving forward, and you feel fine about it. That would make sense to me. But when it comes to the Chiefs side of it, I'm just happy that the Chiefs are finally willing to admit that there is a problem. Because all offseason, we have known that they have a problem in the running back room. And they didn't really do anything about it. Now, no crying over spilled milk. What do you do about it? The only fix to me for the running back room between now and the end of the season is you got to figure out a way to get more from Brashard Smith than what you have. There is no more you can get from Kareem Hunt. There is no more, I think, in theory, that they can get from Isaiah Pacheco than what they already have. There's only one running back that we have no clue what his ceiling is and how he fits in their offense, and that's Brashard Smith. And I'm not talking about just using him and that Jerick McKinnon throw it to him out of the backfield. I mean trying to get him going as a runner and trying to get him more carries and trying to get him comfortable in the offense. Because aside from garbage time against the Raiders, they have never given you a chance to get going with Brashard Smith in the run game. He gets 2 carries here, 3 carries here. They don't give him the football. They don't give him opportunities outside of that. So if you want to talk about growth in the run game, where could growth come from? They've already determined that Elijah Mitchell does not play on the team. If they are looking for a change in the offense, to me, there's only one player that it can come from. It has to come from Brashard Smith. It has to come from them figuring out how to get more from him on the ground as a running back.
I mean, that's not only that the answer, that's what the Chiefs have decided. Or there's also this scenario. We both felt like Isaiah Pacheco was running better before his injury. We felt like he was starting to look like himself a little bit. Now, himself is not the most dynamic runner in the NFL. He's no one's going to confuse him for Saquon Barkley in his prime. But maybe Isaiah Pacheco's bill of health after missing the Bills game and now getting a week off is better than we anticipated. Maybe they feel like he can come back to form faster. So maybe it's Brashard Smith and they feel like a healthy Pacheco can get back to being the player that he used to be because he started to look like he was turning a corner. But outside of that, man, the solutions are thin because I don't think Kareem Hunt's a solution. I think he's just fine or less. Elijah Mitchell's not really a player, and that's kind of it. That's their bodies. So I think Pacheco maybe getting back to a more healthy version of himself could be part of this solution, but I also don't know his medicals, neither do you.
Yeah, it feels to me like it has been over a year since you and I think that we've seen the old Isaiah Pacheco. I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know if it's the leg injury. I don't know what it is. But some of the conversations that we have, like we were never talking about the Chiefs running it from shotgun 2 years ago. That was just not a thing now. Now I feel like because the run game doesn't work, we have now blamed it on the Chiefs running from shotgun, even though it's football in 2025, and everybody in the National Football League is running from shotgun. If your team can't run from shotgun, you are not an effective run team in 2025. That is just the way that offenses work today. So I feel like we are trying to come up with all these different things instead of addressing what the problem is. They don't have enough talent in the room. So I give them credit for finally acknowledging it and trying to go out and get Breece Hall. Cool, that's perfectly fine. I don't know why it was a Breece Hall or nothing. Why didn't you call Carolina and try to get Rico Dowdle? Why didn't you call Carolina and try to get Hubbard? Like, that wasn't the only running back that was possibly available.
I don't think Carolina was doing any selling yesterday. I think Carolina has the same record as the Chiefs.
That's fair.
I know we look at Carolina like they're the dregs of the league.
They are 5-4.
They're the same 5-4 you are, and the fact that Panthers didn't have a sell-a-thon yesterday makes me think the Panthers weren't interested in doing any selling. Like, I know we all talked about Breece Hall and the Jets, and I get why. But, like, part of this equation, too, could be there weren't a whole bunch of sellers yesterday. Like, there were the Jets. They sold.
I can't argue that.
The Raiders sold Jacoby Myers. The Raiders are never doing business with the Chiefs, and they're also not giving you your running back because their running back's a top 10 pick. Who are the other teams that were just in sell mode yesterday? The Saints sold a wide receiver. They weren't selling Alvin Kamara, so because they didn't. There weren't a lot of sellers outside of the Jets yesterday, so I don't know that there was this bevy of, hey, we have all these options to pick running back. It felt like it was kind of Breece Hall or bust yesterday, and they busted. And I'm happy the decision they made to not then pursue Breece Hall for a third-round pick, by the way.
2 things. I want to read this text, and then we'll move on. Someone said, CDOT, why are you sleeping on Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I don't know if that's serious or a joke, but I'm happy to answer it. I don't think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be in the National Football League if it wasn't for the Chiefs. I don't think he'd be in the National Football League. I don't know what he would be doing. I think the Chiefs are the only team that would have Clyde Edwards-Helaire around. I don't think he's a capable NFL back at this point. I wouldn't give him carries. I wouldn't give him snaps. I wish him all the best. He played 2 snaps in the game and went poorly. They aborted that plan almost instantly when they decided to put him in there. They aborted it instantly. When do you think that they gave up on Elijah Mitchell? This is the analogy I'll make. Maybe this has happened to you. Maybe it hasn't. Rob, have you ever been shopping and there was a shirt you really, really liked when you were in the store? And then you got that shirt home and you felt very differently about the shirt? Like maybe you wore it once and you just like, I don't know, I don't like the way this feels. I don't like the shirt nearly as much as I thought I was going to like it. I feel like that's what happened with Elijah Mitchell. It's not like they got him on day 19 of free agency. They kind of got him early on in free agency. Like this was a player that they identified. This was a player that they liked. They liked him. They like him so much, he has never played while the season. Why didn't they cut him? Like, that's what I would love to know from Brett Veach. Because you remember, there were rumblings that they were thinking about trading him at the end of preseason. And that they played him at the end of preseason, kind of like that Carlos Hyde, hoping that anybody would possibly take him. Okay, well, that didn't happen. Well, why is he on the 53-man roster then? He's not on the practice squad. Like Elijah Mitchell is on the 53-man roster. They have just made him inactive. And then when you finally have an injury at running back, you got to assume that somebody gets hurt. It's the National Football League. When an injury finally happens, instead of just activating Elijah Mitchell and just giving him the carries and opportunities, they elevated Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the practice squad. Then Elijah Mitchell doesn't have a role on the team. Why is he on the team? Why didn't they just cut Elijah Mitchell from the very, very beginning and just cut their loss? What are they saving him for? Because there was a point that it went from when they were in the store and they were looking, they loved it. And then when they took it back home, they started to hate it. Well, then why didn't you take it back? You got the receipt. Just go back in the store, get your money back, get a shirt that you like. Why did they do this with Elijah Mitchell if they had no plan on how to use him?
I'm not saying this was happening, but I'll take your analogy and I'll one-up you analogy. Have you ever been at a restaurant and you ordered food and you're like, oh man, the chicken looks good. And then you order it and you're like, it's not great. It's not cooked improperly. It's not like the chef did anything wrong. It's not like they got your order wrong. It just, I ordered poorly. I made a mistake looking at the menu. Then the waitress comes by and says, everyone happy with their meal? You can't be like, no, take it back, because they didn't do anything wrong.
That's fair.
You messed up. It's possible the Chiefs on tape and in scouting and all these things felt, hey, Elijah Mitchell's going to work. We're going to get Elijah Mitchell. And then you got your food and you're like, it doesn't work. I can't take it back. I can't give it back to the waitress. I have to just eat this mistake. It's on me. That's kind of how I felt with Elijah Mitchell. It looked good on paper. It has not looked good on the field. Or maybe it has looked good on the field. I don't know. No one's seen it, but I'm betting it hasn't looked good on the field if he's never playing.
No, I guess I think that's a very good analogy. They didn't give Elijah Mitchell enough money that you couldn't just admit that you made a mistake and walk away from it. Do you know how much Elijah Mitchell's signing bonus was?
It's like $1 million.
They gave him $250,000 in a signing bonus. And he got $100,000 for showing up to OTAs and the workouts. Now, they gave him $1 million guaranteed, so his base salary. So all in with Elijah Mitchell, all in. They gave him $1.7 million. I don't want to make it seem like that's nothing, but for an NFL team, that's fine. This team still has $10 million against the cap for Joe Thuney, who plays for the Chicago Bears. Like, eating money is part of the National Football League. I don't know why the Chiefs, when at some point in August, they realized they didn't like Elijah Mitchell anymore. I don't know why they didn't just cut their losses. And when teams were wheeling and dealing and letting other running backs go, why didn't they pick up another running back that they actually liked? They had an opportunity to do that. But instead, they just got Elijah Mitchell doing what? Running scout team? It doesn't make any sense. Of all the things that they've done, that's by far and away the most confusing thing that's happened. I guess you could argue Christian Fulton. Christian Fulton was hurt for a while, and I just think he got out of their rotation. I think that Christian Fulton was very much a part of their plan. And in St. Joe, when he couldn't practice, I think other people just took his job. I don't think anybody else took Elijah Mitchell's job away from him.
I mean, Elijah Mitchell and Christian Fulton, they are different, but they are two big puzzlers. And I know we're up against a break. We talked about this earlier when it came to Fesco, and we talked about the Rashee Rice extension. One of the things in Fesco's reporting this morning is that the Chiefs have looked at their expenses. They're kind of going to be up against the cap for next year. So they wanted to keep their third-round picks. They're not going to make big free agent signings. That's fine. Man, one of the reasons why the Chiefs are in the position they're in is that they're a team that doesn't make big free agent signings. You can't miss on 2/3 of them. The 3 moves they made on day 1 or 2 of the NFL free agency period, which is like when it's hot and fast, were Christian Fulton, who can't play, and Elijah Mitchell, who hasn't played. Like, if you're going to allocate very few dollars to free agency, you got to hit in those few dollars you allocate. The Chiefs missed 2 of their 3 big free agent signings.
And someone on the text line actually makes a pretty funny analogy. Elijah Mitchell is like the box of cords that you keep in your closet that you don't throw out because one day you might need one of those cords. He's the micro USB cord of running backs. That is a very fair point. I would just argue that they needed that cord on Sunday, and they gave that opportunity to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The natural evolution would have been, hey, we've been making you inactive. Now we have an injury of a guy that can't play. Let's just make you active and play you. But when they made the decision to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Elijah Mitchell, when he been on the practice squad, they told me how they feel about Elijah Mitchell. He ain't really part of their plans. He's not really on their team. Coming up on the other side, we'll switch to our question about the division on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely fearful. How worried are you about the Chiefs losing the AFC West? We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Chiefs Checking for Community America is for real fans. Because real fans know tap to pay is the ultimate play. 0 fees mean you win with ease. And big savings at the team store means you can score more. And who doesn't love scoring more? Community America is investing in helping Chiefs fans step up their financial game. Get started today at communityamerica.com. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Any size darn good coffee, just 99 cents with Casey's Rewards. Limited time only. See store for details.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading land, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley has the machines to get it done. Lease the Cat 255 compact track loader for just $8.99 a month and take advantage of other limited-time demo and purchase incentives. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your Foley Equipment location or go to FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya Kuselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit tremfya.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard Belt, and we've got a stall off to the left shoulder. A lot of onlooker delay. 49 northbound just before 155th. Wrecker is on the scene. And we've got a crash, a 70 eastbound past Fairfax. Center lane blocked right now. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, Rob, did you know right now that Walmart is offering up half off on all their Halloween candy? Did you know that? Are you thinking about after work maybe stopping by your local Walmart location and picking you up some Halloween treats?
I'm not. I've officially made the pivot to Christmas. Trees up in the house. Pumpkin spice lattes in the rearview mirror.
Hold on, I gotta
peppermint time.
We need a challenge flag button. You've already put your Christmas tree up?
Is it November?
Is this you or is this your wife? Because if this was your wife, that would make sense to me.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Did you put your Christmas tree up before KU's first basketball game? Was it up before then?
Game that counted?
Yeah.
Because the Louisville game definitely happened before the tree went up.
Okay. I'm saying before their first game on the record.
That game against Fort Hays State definitely had transpired before the tree went up.
Okay.
Green Bay might be a different conversation.
When'd you put the tree up?
It might have been the Sunday of the Bills game.
Why?
Because it was November 1st.
I didn't know you liked Christmas this much. I thought it was a bit. You put your tree up on November 1st? Have you guys already started watching Christmas movies?
No, we haven't gone full-fledged.
Full-fledged, you already have a tree up. You might as well commit to it now at this point.
First off, the tree's up because the tree is the biggest pain in the ass to get up. The full decorations have not been done. We don't have the lights done
When
yet.
is that coming?
Probably in the next 2 weeks.
I mean, you got a Chiefs bye week. I know it's about to happen. Definitely. On Sunday, you think you're about to be watching Red Zone while the Chiefs aren't playing? Caroline got you up on that ladder, my boy. You about to be putting all kind of trees up.
We got lights, we got pillows, we got decorations.
You watched a Christmas movie. Come on now. You've watched one already.
Not yet. Nope. Christmas stayed
You've already watched Elf.
Nope. Steadfast there. Might happen on Sunday during the bye week, but
having your Christmas tree up on November 5th is real crazy
It's not lit yet. It's just up. We haven't decorated
It's real crazy work.
Just had to get out of the
Somebody
basement.
said you had your tree up prior to Election Day.
100%.
That's crazy.
100%.
I didn't know. This is my genuine reaction. I had no clue you already had your Christmas tree up. Do any of you already have your Christmas tree up? 913-586-7965. You already have your Christmas tree up? That means you just got this tree in your house for 60 days?
That's not real. I didn't chop it down.
It's still there.
I didn't head out of the forest with a.
I didn't think you were Paul Bunyan. I didn't think that's what you did.
I went out there with an axe. I was just.
So you're telling me the moment you took your Halloween costume off, you guys just went down in the basement like, it's time.
So it's a one-stop shop. I have to take all the Halloween decorations down. I'm already headed to the basement. I'm right there. I might as well grab the tree, bring it up, set it up. Again, not lit yet. Hasn't been put with ornaments on, the whole deal. But I'm already downstairs. I have to haul this thing up the stairs once. Might as well knock it out today.
No, I got you. I mean, people on the text line are saying November 1, Christmas goes up. CDOT, you got to get on board. Somebody's saying Christmas up already. It's pretty normal. I guess
we're like a 25-30% of Christmas full up in our house. I would say we also do Christmas in our house bigger than the average person. So,
yeah, someone on the text line says, guys, I'm leaving Michael's right now with my new tree.
Buying a tree this time of year you must be very affluent.
Christmas for me, Christmas starts after the Chiefs and Cowboys game. It is officially Christmas time. Officially Christmas time. Do all the Christmas stuff. Go deck the halls with boughs of holly. Go out caroling. Go to Christmas in the park. Put your lights up. After the final whistle of Cowboys Chiefs, you can go Christmas-a-palooza. We're doing that on November 1st. I thought it was 12 days of Christmas. You got the 52 days of Christmas. That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
I can't believe you think it's crazy. Now, again, we won't be full-fledged.
Okay, let me ask you this, then. We can move on from this. What's too early then to put? Because you obviously think that November 1st is not early.
Pre-Halloween.
So what would be too early then to put your Christmas tree? So I'm saying is, what would be early where you look at the person like, hey, you've gone too far? Is that like October 22nd? You're looking at that person like something's going on.
If you have your tree up before trick-or-treaters hit the doorbell, that's too early.
Okay. I got you.
By the way, Sam's Club and Walmart and Target and wherever you shop at those fine establishments, if you were there on Labor Day and you're thinking, I'm going to buy some school supplies, there was already a section of Christmas decorations up and ready to go.
I remember not that long ago, we were complaining about the war on Christmas. It really is the war on Thanksgiving. I don't know why we tried so hard.
Thanksgiving doesn't have any decorations or feel. It's just food. And as someone who has to do 2 Thanksgivings, 3. I have 3 Thanksgivings. You know what you get sick of pretty quick? Turkey.
Okay, all right. Hey,
after I've done the first one, I'm like, I don't need 2 more turkey meals, but here we go.
If you guys are happy in the Britton home, that's all that matters. 913-586-7965. Does anybody else have their Christmas tree up? Rob has just informed us that before KU started playing basketball, he already had his tree up.
Someone on the text line says they get their lights on Halloween night. That's a little bit aggressive for me.
How is it aggressive? That's 12 hours later than you.
You got to get the Halloween decorations down. You got to rip those down.
Yeah, they did in one swoop. That's what they did. In one swoop. They took down the pumpkin and put up the ornaments. Yeah, in one swoop, they ended up doing this. I always feel like when we have these topics, I come off like I'm anti-Christmas. I'm really not anti-Christmas. I just don't know why Christmas needs more than 30 days. That's what I don't know. I don't know why Christmas needs more than 30 days. That's what I don't get.
So you're telling me the fact that right now I'm on a group text with some friends and my wife, and we're discussing what Christmas pop-ups to hit and win.
Oh, you can do that. No, you can do that. That's fair. No, you can do that.
I would call that part of the Christmas season.
Yeah, no, but that's fair to me, though, because those, they run out. So if you want to go to certain Christmas pop-ups, if you can't wait till, the 11th of December to plan when you're going to these things. So you got to be doing that right now. Your Christmas tree can absolutely wait until December 11th to go up. It absolutely can. It 100%. You could be sitting there, and I know KU's non-con. They got some dogs in there. Why don't you just wait until like November 22nd? Hey, babe, while we're sitting here watching KU pummel on Furman, why don't we just put the tree up during this? But hey, different strokes for different folks.
I don't know why I don't know why you're anti the first. There was no Chiefs game until 3:25. I had ample time. I was already taking the pumpkins and all this stuff back down the stairs.
You had Red Zone and Redwoods. That's what you had. That's what you had going
Again,
on. In
the outside lights aren't done yet. We haven't made all the coffee cup switches yet. We haven't done the towels switch yet. We're the, what's the term? Precog. We've just started the process.
Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, my guy, I had my tree up before Mizzou kicked off against Central Arkansas. When it's fall, it's Christmas. You need help. That's what I'm here to tell you. You need help. You need help. At the beginning of college football season, you started celebrating Christmas. You need help. That's all I got. I don't want to talk about
also,
this
someone on the text line makes an excellent point. Outside Christmas lights, which are also a new endeavor in my life, but I do them, you want a nice weather day. You don't want to be putting outside lights up in December because you know what it is? Cold. And you know what you need? You need to have your fingers available to tape things up, and you need to be able to put things on the roof and all the things. So you know what? I am very pro getting that. I'll probably get that done on Sunday. Actually, the outside lights on Sunday feels like check, and check.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to be in the spirit after watching Darren Peterson shoot 5 for 17 at North Carolina. I don't know if you're going to have a very productive weekend. That's my prediction. I don't know if you're going to be in a good mood.
I don't know why you're hating on the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
That guy plays at BYU. He doesn't play at KU.
He might play at Arizona, actually.
Let me ask you this question about the Chiefs. On a scale from 1 to 10, so 10 being the most serious, 1 being nothing, how worried are you about the Chiefs losing the AFC West? I'd put my worry right now at a 6. I'd put it at a 6. Slightly above average. I mean, they really got some work to do, and it just feels like, not that it's one of those kind of years for the Broncos in which I think the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl, but very rarely during this stretch has there been another team in the division that was capable of winning 12 or 13 games. I mean, if that's what we're talking about with the Chiefs, that the Chiefs got to win 12 or 13 games, well, they better get going. You know what I mean? Like, you better get super, super hot. This Broncos team, they won 6 games in a row. They got Vegas coming up tomorrow for Thursday Night Football at home. So I'm just going to guess they make it 7 in a row. They then have 10 days to prepare for the Chiefs. So, I mean, it's not a bye week in the sense that the Chiefs have, but they get 10 days to get ready for the game against Kansas City. If the Broncos end up splitting the games with Kansas City this year, they just really put themselves in a position where they could potentially win the AFC West. So I'm not conceding the division by any means, but right now, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd put it at a 6. I think the Broncos right now should be considered the favorite in the AFC West. The Chiefs haven't beat a lot of good teams this year, and we are at the halfway point of the season, and you're in 3rd place, and you got more work to do than the other teams in the division. The Broncos just have a clear path to winning 12 games than the Chiefs do. So, to me, Denver should be considered the favorite, and they're a slight favorite in Vegas, but they're also the Chiefs. And you got 3 games against the Broncos and the Chargers. If you go 2-1 in those games, and then you can take care of your business elsewhere, you very much put yourself back in line to give yourself a chance to win the division. I'm at a 6. Where are you at?
I believe that me and you see this a little differently because I think the Chiefs, I'm at like a 7.5, 8. That's kind of how I feel like it shakes out because I'm looking back at all the division winners and you scroll through and there's a lot of red there. But man, the Chiefs didn't win the division convincingly in 2021. Now remember in 2021, they started out sluggish. They were 3-4. They had lost at home to the Chargers. So they had a division lost. And then later in the season, they had to come on strong. They won the division. You'll remember they basically iced the division down by going on the road, Thursday Night Football. They then beat the Chargers in LA. That was their big division comeback. They had a tough stretch, and then they came back and won. It feels like this season like that season, except for there are now 2 competitors in the division. Because as much as we're talking only about the Broncos, and I get why, the Chargers are beat up, the Chargers don't have the team anymore, the Chiefs are looking up at 2 teams in the standings. The Chiefs are 3rd right now in the AFC West. And outside the playoff picture. So I am much more concerned than you. I'm a 7.5, maybe an 8. Because much like we talked about with the Royals, remember when they were like hovering around, they were close in the playoff race and in the wild card race, and the thought was, hey, you're only 4 back, but you have to jump 3 teams to get in the playoff race? That's kind of what the Chiefs are. Yeah, they're only 2 back, but they got to jump 2 teams to do it in half a season. That's a little bit of a tall order. Not an impossible order. I think the Chiefs still can do it, but I'm at a 7.5 and an 8 that they won't win this division.
The Chiefs have 3 games between now and December 7th. So 3 games left in the month. It's probably a better way to put it. What do you think their record is? They're currently 5-4. They have a bye week. Historically, they have been very good after a bye. And I would say if you were still picking them to win the division, they really got to get going after that. They play Denver, Indianapolis. I mean, this stretch here, this is a difficult stretch. They play the 3 other best teams in the AFC opposite of them. Maybe you would argue New England is one of those teams, but you go on the road and play Buffalo. You've already lost that game. You go on the road and play the Broncos, where the Broncos have been very good this season, but we can acknowledge that the Broncos have been a team that a lot of those coin flip games that Kansas City won last year, it feels like Denver is now winning those coin flip kind of games this season. Like the luck has just shifted to somebody else at the table. They also got a home game against Indianapolis that honestly, I don't really know what to make of that game. I think Indianapolis is good. Well, they finally played one of the better teams in the AFC, and they just couldn't stop turning the ball over. But I also don't think that's a formula you can expect to replicate on a game-in, game-out basis. If this team can get past November, there is a stretch that they can really get going. They got Houston at home. They got the Chargers at home. We're talking about the Chargers at home in the middle of December. I like this Chargers team. I will take my chances with Kansas City in cold weather against the Chargers. I'll just take my chances. You got on the road against Tennessee. If it is week 16 and the Chiefs are in trouble on the road against Tennessee, we got way bigger problems than if they're going to win their division or not. They then got a home game against Denver on Christmas Day that is now looking like it could be the most important game this season in the AFC, aside from when the Bills play the Patriots again. And then you go on the road to play Vegas at the end of the season. That game might end up meaning something. It might end up meaning nothing, and it is just we don't know what to happen. But if the Chiefs can figure out a way to navigate these next 3 weeks, on the road against Denver, home against Indy. I don't think much of Dallas, but it's Thanksgiving. It's on the road. Their offense, weird things just happen in the National Football League. If they can figure out a way to get out of this month 7-5, for example, and just lose one of these 3 games, they really got a chance to win out and finish the season 12-5, which gives you a chance to either win the division or probably split it with Denver or maybe Los Angeles.
So I don't disagree with your sentiment, but here's my question. They got to navigate and win some games here. They got to get to 7-5 by the end of the month. That 7-5 cannot include a loss to the Broncos. It just can't. Like, for your example, because I don't think 7-5 as a record is a death sentence. That would mean the Chiefs go 2-1 in their next 3 games. More likely than not, I think that's what will happen. They got Denver, they got Indianapolis, they got Dallas, as you just laid out. If they go 2-1 that stretch, and the 1 is at Denver, and now they're 7-5 at the end of November, and it's Christmas time for some people, I guess, and it's December, and you're 7-5, but you're 1-2 in the division, you're not winning the division. You're just not. Like, you're in too bad of a spot. You are in too tough of a hill to climb with a month left in the season. So, and you don't get the automatic Raiders win, the second one in your division, until the final week of the season. So I think you're right. If you're 7-5 on December 1st, you're not dead. But if you're 7-5 on December 1st and that one loss in November comes at the expense of the Broncos, you're in real trouble. That's why I have my worry a little bit higher, because I know the Chiefs are great off a bye and the Chiefs are great against the Broncos and all those things. Man, the Broncos are going to have a mini bye after playing the Raiders tomorrow night, and the Broncos gave the Chiefs everything they wanted and more last season in their one real appearance. Like, that game is real coin flippy. So if you go 7-5 with the Broncos loss, I don't know how you can win the division.
Yeah, I also think, at least when talking about this, because I'm seeing a lot of people that are saying it doesn't really matter if the Chiefs win the division or not. I guess why I would argue it matters a little bit in the context of this conversation is, if the Chiefs don't win the division, it means that they have already lost to a team they're probably going to have to go on the road in the playoffs and beat. Just based on how their schedule,
maybe 2 of them, honestly.
Just based on how their schedule has broken out this year, where they've played mostly all the good teams in the AFC. And so far, I mean, they haven't beaten any of those good teams that they've played so far in the AFC. Now, that's going to happen sometime. But, I mean, if the Chiefs end up as the 6th seed and they have to go on the road, they're likely going on the road to a team they lost to in the regular season. They're going on the road to Buffalo. They're going on the road maybe to Indianapolis. Let's see how that game goes. Maybe they get a rematch in the division. They go on the road and play the Denver Broncos. So not that they can't win that game. Certainly not arguing that. And we've seen them go on the road and win postseason games. But, I mean, one of the advantages that Kansas City has had over the last 5 to 7 years or so is, A, they have been able to skip a game in the playoffs. So you can't get upset in the wild card round if you don't play in the wild card round. And they have had usually a good path in the second round where they play a team that just, they're clearly better than that team. Like, how many times have they been the 1 seed? They then play the 4 seed in the second half. They got Jacksonville coming into town. They got Houston coming into town. It's like, all right, they're better than this team. They're clearly better than them. And then you get the advantage of Buffalo and Baltimore play each other in that second round. And now you only got to beat one of those teams as opposed to both of those teams. Now, yes, they won 1 Super Bowl that way, but I wouldn't say that that's the best path to keep going back to the Super Bowl year after year if you got to try to beat 2 of those teams every single year.
I would agree. And I feel like in a lot of ways, the Chiefs have kind of broken fans' brain in a good way. The Chiefs, in I believe it was 2023, went on the road twice, maybe in 2022, went on the road twice, won the AFC and then won the Super Bowl. And it was an incredible run. And that's not really the norm in the NFL. Like, winning multiple road playoff games is an outlier. It doesn't happen every year. And even that year they won multiple road playoff games en route to a Super Bowl, they got to play the Dolphins in that horrible, frigid game at home at Arrowhead. So they still got a home game in the division that year. If you're in the divisional round taking on, I don't know, let's just say they're taking on the Patriots in round 1, then the Broncos, then the Bills, or in some order, man, that is a really tough uphill battle. And the NFL is just not designed for you to go 3-0 on the road in the playoffs. That's why it happens so infrequently. So if you don't win the division, you put yourself at a massive disadvantage. And I know Chiefs fans have seen the Chiefs do it once. It's not done all that often in the league.
I also think this, and I understand the philosophy behind it, but I also kind of feel like if you're on the side of that Josh Allen is eventually going to get one, which I imagine a lot of people are. Like, if I set the over-under on a half Super Bowl, do you think Josh Allen gets there? Well, if Josh Allen gets there, then at some point it comes at the expense of Kansas City getting there. So I don't think when we're having these conversations, the feeling can be, well, I think Josh Allen eventually gets one, but he never beats Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. Well, then he never gets one then. You can't have both sides of that opinion. Because you got to beat Kansas City at some point in the postseason to get to where you ultimately think you're going to be. So if you think Josh Allen just never goes to a Super Bowl, that's perfectly fine. Most people think eventually he will get there. If I'm guessing he eventually gets there, it is going to be because they host the AFC Championship game. That's what I'm just going to guess. And right now they're the favorite to be the 1 seed. So are the Chiefs a team, based on how they've played so far, that you think could possibly, if they don't win their division in this conversation, how worried are you about winning it? Could they be the 5 seed? You then go on the road and play Baltimore, who could end up winning the AFC North. You then maybe have to go on the road and play Indianapolis or Baltimore or Buffalo, and then you got to go on the road and play Indianapolis. That's just a tough stretch of games to try to win those 3 games, especially right now for a team that has really not shown you that they can beat good teams. They beat 1 good team at home so far this year, and they have lost close games to every other good team that they've played so far. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the hits. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, Any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Now when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide. Is both. Nationwide. Is both. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Big problems, multi-car crash. 35 southbound at Antioch. Tried to make it off to the right shoulder, but still part of the right lane is blocked here. And big delays. You've also got a crash. 635 southbound just before Shawnee Drive. Off to the right shoulder. Onlooker delay there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Rob, I will say this. We've been talking about the trade deadline, and we'll talk more about it coming up at the top of the hour. I am kind of surprised that they didn't go get Colin Saunders. Maybe they would have got him if he was just outright released, but if they were looking for a defensive lineman that they could easily kind of plug and play, that just made all the sense. I know we know how things played himself out, but if Mike Pennell hadn't been released, Do you think they would have made a trade to go get somebody on the defensive line? Because you and I thought this when it happened. Hey, Mike Pennell is going to be one of their answers at the defensive line. Like, it has made all the sense in the world. He was available. He didn't have to go through waivers. If you wanted him, you could just go get him. They got him. He was on the team in less than 24 hours. I would have thought if they needed a little bit more push when talking about the defensive line, I'm shocked they didn't go get a guy who they know very well, knows the system, and just would have been a nothing acquisition cost. I am a little bit surprised that the trade deadline is coming on and they didn't go get Colin Saunders.
I wonder, because we look around the league, and I'm using the results to my point here, I wonder how much, if any, of a D-tackle market actually existed out there. Because outside of, I guess Pennell wasn't a move. Outside of Quinnen Williams, who is just a different beast, there weren't a lot of D-tackle moves. Like, I guess Mozzie Smith was part of that deal, but that you're not getting Mozzie Smith unless you're, getting a Quinnen Williams type of move. So the Saunders on the Jags. The Jags are in the playoffs right now. Maybe they're not in the mood to give you a player when you're competing with them for a playoff spot. Like, I wonder how much, if any, of a D-tackle market even existed, because not a lot of them were moved outside of the creme de la creme at the top.
I mean, maybe it's just an injury issue. I mean, Colin Saunders, at least for Jacksonville, he hasn't played since week 1. He played in the first game of the season. He had 2 tackles, and that's kind of been it. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe the Chiefs made a phone call to try to figure out if he was healthy or not. Maybe he's not healthy. Maybe they didn't want. You're right. Like, there weren't a whole lot of defensive linemen that changed hands over the course of the last couple of days. It just felt like something they'd potentially be interested in. I think there's a chance that the Chiefs look at the waiver wire. You got to remember, that's how they got Mike Pennell. Like, it wasn't like they signed Mike Pennell originally in free agency. They didn't trade a draft pick for him. Mike Pennell, they just claimed off waivers. Last year, how they got DJ Humphries. I know he ended up getting hurt, but they just claimed DJ Humphries off waivers. So I do wonder if over the next couple of weeks, as just, injuries happen, football happens, we know there's going to be a couple of players that get let go between now and, let's say, December 1st. I wonder if the Chiefs are just interested in trying to pick up a big body that way. I understand that they took the swing at Breece Hall, and maybe that was the only player that they were interested in on the offensive side of the ball. But that wasn't the only perceived need that they had. And maybe there was a defensive lineman that you could have got at a little acquisition cost. And obviously, the Chiefs just didn't think it was worth it. They haven't really been linked to any other player other than Breece Hall. There's been a little bit of Breece Hall rumblings, and I do believe that the Chiefs made a phone call to see if Breece Hall was available. Maybe they threw something out there trying to get the Jets to engage a little bit. Have you seen them linked to any defensive player over the last 48 hours or so?
I guess Nate was on with Cody and Gold yesterday and said that, if Bradley Chubb was cheaper, that's a name they could be interested in. But obviously, Bradley Chubb didn't move, and he's not going to get cheaper. So it felt like they were kind of in, I don't want to say running back or bust, but they were kind of in Breece Hall or bust territory. And I wonder how much that is because just the defensive market for what they need, defensive line just didn't exist. Like, a lot of the names we got in the text line over the last couple of weeks. So what about Calais Campbell? What about this guy? What about that guy?
You didn't hear any rumblings about those players.
Not only hearing rumblings, none of those guys moved. Like, any name that you threw out in the text line and you're like, oh, I think the Chiefs should pursue so-and-so.
The only one that moved was Jalen Phillips.
Correct. And we both agree that the acquisition cost was probably too high for the Chiefs are going to do. So none of those guys really moved at all. So I think the Chiefs were kind of just stuck. That's why they got so excited with Breece Hall, is that they called people about D-tackle and got told, okay, no, throughout the course of the day.
Do you think they would have got Jalen Phillips if he was there for a 4th-round pick? So let's say the same pick that they offered for Breece Hall. Let's say if Jalen Phillips would have been available with that, do you think the Chiefs pull the trigger? Do you think they make that trade?
100%. I 100% think so. They would have used one of the bonus 4th-round picks they have. I don't know which one's earlier, the Tooney one or the Chiefs one. Doesn't really matter. They would use one of their 4th-round picks to go get Jalen Phillips. That was the cost. I think they know over at, was it 1 Arrowhead Drive? I think they know over there that pass rush is a major concern. Chris Jones basically said it after the game on Sunday. We got to win our one-on-ones. We're not winning one-on-ones. Well, yeah, Josh Allen could have a picnic back there before he picked you apart. Like that is not a winning formula in the postseason or in any game. So I think the Chiefs know it just the acquisition cost was far too high. But if it was a 4th, I think Jalen Phillips would be a Chief right now.
I want to play this audio for you guys very quickly before we get to the hits coming up at the top of the hour. Rob, did you read the Goosebumps books when you were a kid?
I did.
Okay, so you read a little Say Cheese or Die back in the day. So R.L. Stine is making a new book. He's the author of the Goosebumps series. He went on the CBS morning show. I want to play for you something that he said.
Adults. They're a horrible audience. Why would anyone want to write for adults? They're a horrible audience. Yeah. My audience, the 7 to 12, that's the best audience.
Why?
I get them the last time in their lives they'll ever be enthusiastic. It's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
7 to 11, they want to know you, they want to read you, they want to buy stuff, they want to talk to you. They're there, they're a great audience. They turn 12, they discover sex, they have to be cool, they're gone.
Rob, as I was listening to this and he talked about adults being a terrible audience, do we suck? Like as adults? Are we just not fun people? Because R.L. Stine, who has been a staple in a majority of our lives, who didn't read Goosebumps when you were 8, 9 years old? These were great, fantastic stories. He basically said, we suck. Why would he want to make anything for us? Is this true?
I mean, I'm not an avid
You and I make content for adults all the time. I don't think they suck.
I also think it's different. I'm not an avid reader. If I was a writer, I might feel different. Like, what's the best adult novel series? Like, I don't know. Maybe there's an obvious one I'm just missing it. Harry Potter is for kids. R.L. Stine books are for kids. All those, like, Hunger Games books are, like, maybe teenagers. Like, where are the books targeted toward adults? I mean, maybe he's right. He knows the author sphere way better than I do.
Well, that kind of stinks because basically he's saying once you reach a certain age, you just stop having an imagination. Yep. That's what he said.
That's 100%
He was like,
what
when
said.
you're 7 to 11, you have an imagination, you're creative. And then when you get 12 or 13, that just ceases. You just don't have one anymore. That doesn't sound fun. RL, I need a little bit more optimism. I didn't hear any of it from you. I mean, good luck to you, whatever you're doing. Again, you're a staple in all of our lives, but I just don't think we're this bad. I just don't think we are. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the hits. We'll get back to the top story of the day. The Chiefs didn't get Breece Hall. I'm cool with it, and we're starting to find out more and more why. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Big problems, multi-car crash. 35 southbound at Antioch. Tried to make it off to the right shoulder, but still part of the right lane is blocked here. And big delays. You've also got a crash. 635 southbound just before Shawnee Drive. Off to the right shoulder. Onlooker delay there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time. But it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there. With information coming at us all day, every day, it's hard to know what to trust. And the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals. So it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like Dark Mode 2. Log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFMC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. We got a lot to get into in this final hour of the show. You know what? Why don't we split this thing up just a little bit? We'll talk a little bit of Royals. We'll talk a little bit of Chiefs. There's a stadium survey that is circulating right now by the Kansas City Royals. There's a lot to get into in the 5 o'clock hour. So let's start with this, because it is not every day that the general manager of the Royals comes on the station. Now, we all know what the issue is with the Royals heading into 2026. Must wake up bats. They need more offense. How are they going to go about doing that? J.J. Picollo was asked that question. Here's what he said.
Well, I think looking at the market right now, it doesn't seem like it's very deep with the number of outfielders that are really impactful. So if we want to try to go get a really impactful bat, I think our mindset is probably a little bit more on trade right now. If we end up going with some sort of platoon system in one of those spots, it could be through free agency, but we need to stay open to any and all ideas. And, it'll take shape here. The GM meetings are next week, so I think things will start taking shape more so after next week. But preliminary discussions have already been had with teams. So teams know what our needs are. We know what their needs are, and you just formulate how you want to go about it, and hopefully things pick up a little bit next week.
The first thing of what J.J. Piccolo said is supply and demand economics 101. You heard him say, it is not a deep class of impact bats. So if there are only 2 or 3 of those, the Royals are probably not winning those bids. They're going to go to some of the bigger market clubs that got a little bit more money to spend. I think we all understand that. We know the economics of baseball, so I'm happy that the Royals are acknowledging that. Hey, this isn't a buyer's market for us when talking about the thing that we need most. So if that is the case and you're not going to be major players in free agency for one of those bats, well, then you got to try to acquire those players a different way. He was asked that question. Here's what he said.
Yeah, I think that can be said for any area that you are deep. So right now our major league starting pitching depth is tremendous. We expect to be hit on our starting pitching this offseason. We have gone through teams asking about our catching in the minor leagues already, and that will continue, I think, with the guys that are behind Carter. So we'll be open-minded to it. The toughest part about trades is whoever may have interest in whatever catcher we have or starting pitcher we have, they need to have the player that we want in return. Yeah, sure. So that pool gets somewhat dumbed down pretty quickly. It gets a little bit thinner, so there's certain teams you can target and have those discussions. And in the end, it's ultimately, who do they value the most? Who do we value the most? But we certainly expect catching to be something the teams will ask about, and starting pitching, major league ready starting pitching, to be another thing that other teams covet.
I would say that right now the Royals have a couple of the more valuable things that you can have if you don't have a whole lot of money to spend. So if you're not going to be one of the major players when it comes to just outright cash in free agency, and those couple of bats are going to go to San Francisco or Chicago or New York, etc., if you're worried about that, if you got quality catching prospects and major league ready starting pitching prospects, you can always wheel and deal because teams are always looking for those couple of things. The Royals have one goal in 2026. I guess the offseason of 2025 heading into 2026 is a better way to put it. They have one goal. If the Royals do not get an impact bat to insert in their lineup, it is impossible to give them a passing grade for this offseason. They must come away with one of those. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of an outfielder. Rob, you were telling me that the Royals are interested in Alex Bregman, for example, who will turn 31 years old. So if you were telling me that the Royals' plan is to add a third baseman that hits 280 and hit 20 home runs last year, and you're now going to put him in the middle of the lineup, and now we're looking at an infield that you got Alex Bregman, Bobby Witt Jr., Miguel Garcia, and Vinny Pasquantino, you can live with that. You get an improvement from Jack Caglione. You figure out a way to platoon at the other outfield spot, and that is a capable lineup in 2026. But the Royals have to add a significant piece, so it's going to cost you something. So whether it's going to cost you cash and adding to the payroll in that regard, or trading a catching prospect when you just signed Salvador Perez to a 2-year deal. He is going to finish out his career in Kansas City. And then you got Carter Jensen, who we believe is going to be the Salvador Perez replacement and is your catcher for the future. So if you've got another catching prospect, turning that guy into an outfielder that you think can help you is not a bad strategy. This sounds crazy to say as somebody who has followed the Royals their whole life, lived in Kansas City, as I imagine many of you. The fact that the Royals have a surplus at starting pitching, I can't ever remember that being the case. So now that they have the ability to turn one of those guys into a bat that you could stick in the middle of your lineup, you got to take that opportunity. We were not talking about Noah Cameron 18 months ago. You expect him to be on your opening day roster now. He's somebody who could potentially start for you on opening day. Like, that's where we're at with Noah Cameron. So you're adding that guy into the mix, all the other names. You get Cole Reagan's back, Lugo, all of those guys. You got 5 to 6 starting pitchers that you could possibly use one of those guys to help you go get what you need. So I expect the Royals to do this at some point. I don't think the Royals are going to sit on their hands. The Royals are right there. They had a winning record. You make one right move, and you can find yourself as an 87-win team next year that makes a playoff and could possibly make a run in the playoffs. So the question now is, how do they end up acquiring that player? Are they going to be able to buy that player? Alex Bregman is a free agent. You just have to outright outbid everybody else for Alex Bregman. Or it's going to be you got to take something that you really like and you got to spend your starting pitching currency to go pick you up an impact bat. Find yourself a 27, 28-year-old outfielder who's major league ready that can start for you opening day, and you get that because you traded major league starting pitching for him.
I don't know, is it an unpopular opinion or a popular opinion to have? But I think John Sherman and the Royals are going to be, relative to their market size, big spenders this year, and Royals fans are going to be happy with what John Sherman did. Because following that disastrous, let's be honest, it was a disastrous 2022 season for the Royals, what did John Sherman do? They went out and spent. They signed to Seth Lugo. They signed to Michael Wacha. They had made the trade to bring in Cole Reagans. They took on payroll to do, like, they had signed Hunter Renfroe. Did that work? No, but they went out and did these things. Like, they had made moves. They were being aggressive. They were in on these things in 2023. 2024, they largely sat on their hands, and they didn't have a bad season, but they were not as good as they were in 2023. I think John Sherman understands, okay, I got to invest again in the team to get them back over the hump because for whatever reason, they've hit a plateau. So whether that be an Alex Bregman, who you referenced it, John Heyman in his offseason primer says the Royals could be a suitor for Alex Bregman because they're considered one of the bigger spenders among small market clubs. That could be a thing they do. Maybe the Royals add Alex Bregman and make a move. They trade a Ryan Bergert for a right fielder. Maybe they trade a Ramon Ramirez or Blake Mitchell, one of their top catching prospects, for a left fielder. If they do those things, you're not talking about the Royals as being a team that, they're going to be better in 2025. That's fun. You're talking about them being a legit division contender. You're talking about them being a legit team that can go to the ALCS. And I think that's what the Royals have their eyes on. I think the organization is now thinking bigger than just, let's be a plucky, third wild card and get back. That was fun. They want those things, but I think they have bigger aspirations in mind. So I think you're going to see them spend a little bigger this year. Maybe not literally Alex Bregman, but the fact that John Heyman, who is very plugged in the organization, connected the Royals to Bregman at all, is a sign that ownership, I think, is going to spend this upcoming winter.
So that was the Royals portion of the hits. Rob, why don't we get to the Chiefs?
Your workday is over. Oh, yeah. You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Carrington Harrison hits are brought to you by Baker University. Make your next era orange at Baker University, the first university in Kansas and ranked number 1 in return on investment among private universities in the state. Baker University, forever in our orange era.
All right, so I want to play a couple of things for you guys as hit number 1. This is Jordan Schultz. He is with Bleacher Report, does some stuff with Fox Sports. He's very plugged in when it comes to NFL circles. Here is his answer on why the Jets didn't move Breece Hall at the deadline.
Another huge name that could have been dealt was Breece Hall. Now, he was not dealt because the Jets did not get the draft capital they were seeking. I think a third-round pick would have got it done. Hopefully you saw my report about an hour or so before the deadline that Breece Hall, quote, wants to be out. I think he clearly saw the writing on the wall with not only Quinnen and Sauce traded, but Michael Carter traded earlier. This is a Jets team that is clearly in rebuilding mode. Breece Hall is averaging 5 yards per carry. He will be a free agent after the season.
I am with the Chiefs on not overpaying for a rental player in Breece Hall. I am going to give the Royals credit for this. I think the Royals, for the first time in 2025, admitted that they have a running back problem. if you put an offer on the table for Breece Hall, you were prepared to go make a move to get your RB1. Now, we can't go back in time. I wish they had done this in March or April or in August. I wish they had been a little bit more proactive with running back. But again, we can't go back. Let's move forward. How do the Chiefs fix this issue? I think there's only one possible way. They got to get more from Brashard Smith than they've gotten so far. It's really that simple. We are midway through the season. I think I know what Isaiah Pacheco is. I think I know what Kareem Hunt is at this point. They don't give Brashard Smith enough carries for us to potentially figure out what he is. He has 28 carries through the first 9 games for the Chiefs, and 14 of those happened in the second half of the Raiders game. So they haven't really been committed to giving Brashard Smith the ball. Now, he hasn't been great. He's averaging 2.9 yards per carry, but you don't give him a chance to really get going. So, in my opinion, if you want to see growth or evolution in the Chiefs' run game, Brashard Smith has to be in the middle of it. We have seen 3.5 years of Isaiah Pacheco. I know what he is. We've seen enough Kareem Hunt over the last year that I know what the Chiefs have with Kareem Hunt. I don't know what they have with Brashard Smith. They've thrown it to him a little bit out of the backfield. They haven't really committed to giving him carries. We always know that there is a wrinkle or something that the Chiefs do differently after the bye week. It makes sense. Andy and Nagy and his staff, they're tinkering, they're watching film, and you're getting ready for a very important month that the Chiefs have. The Chiefs go on the road and play the Broncos. They have the Indianapolis Colts at home. They play 2 of the best teams in the National Football League right when they all get back from break. So what's going to be different? What's going to be the potential wrinkle with the team? I think it needs to focus on Brashard Smith and how you get him more involved in the offense, because that's the growth of this team. Where else can they get more out of players? I think Brashard Smith is one of those options. I want to see a little bit more of him when they get back from the bye week.
Let me ask you a question, and this is a question on the text line. I will credit the text line for saying this. If Brashard Smith can't beat out Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, I guess he is certainly beating out Elijah Mitchell, are we sure he's a thing? Like, is it possible that the reason we think he has juice is that we haven't seen any running back with juice in 12 plus months? It's the, water in the desert theory. If you hate name a soda and you're in the desert, begging for thirst, and you pop up and that soda is the only thing available, you're going to be like, oh man, it's good. I've been wrong this whole time. If he can't get carries over Pacheco and Hunt now, maybe it's he hadn't figured out the offense. Maybe it's they don't know his role for him. Maybe it's just he's not as good as them, which is a larger problem. But I don't want to rule out the idea that a 7th round rookie running back is not the long-term answer and not the short-term answer. Those kind of guys are usually just role players, and they might be asking him by doing more to do more than just his role.
No, I'm with you. I think that's fair. I guess why I'm willing to at least be open to the possibility is they have gotten more out of rookies in the second half of the season. We don't have to go back too far, because we could certainly pull up tweets and texts from a year ago where people thought that Xavier Worthy was a bust because of how he was the first 6 to 8 weeks of his rookie season. And then he started to figure some things out. They started to use him more, and he started to become a bigger participant in their offense. The same thing happened with Rashee Rice. Now, I understand, different position, that's at wide receiver, but wasn't the plan to use Brashard Smith like a wide receiver? Wasn't he a former wide receiver at SMU and you liked him for the versatility? So I'm just saying is get him onto the field, get him into the offense more. That's what I'm saying. Right now, he has 200 yards from scrimmage in their first 9 games. So you're not really using him a whole lot. So how do you get more out of this running back room with what they have? There are no reinforcements coming. This is it. So we don't need to talk about what they could have done. They could have got R.J. Harvey. They could have got Javonte Williams. All of that time has passed. They have 5 running backs on this team. They got Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Brashard Smith, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's it. They got to figure out how to get more from those 5 between now and the end of the season. And then I'm happy to have the conversation when they can actually do something about it, about what they should do and who they should go get and how they should improve the position. But this is it. How do you make that running back room work? That's where we are right now with the offense. What's hit number 2?
Number 2.
Speaking of Breece Hall and the Chiefs running back situation, Chiefs fans were all hot and bothered and angry and all sorts of stuff yesterday that the Chiefs did not add the Jets running back. Bob Fescoe of Fescoe and Dusty was on this morning, and he explained why the Chiefs didn't get Breece Hall for the alleged third-round pick asking price.
So they kind of have on their ledger where they're going to be next year when it comes to the money that they're going to spend, including projected extensions for Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice. And so they're looking at the number that they're going to have spent next year. They're looking at the money that is afforded to them by the owner. They're looking at money with the salary cap, and they're saying, okay, we're going to pay these two guys who are very, no pun intended, worthy of contract extensions and making these guys long-term members of this franchise. That means we're not going to have a lot of money to spend in free agency next offseason, right? We're not going to be able to go out there and spend money on other people's players because we're investing that money into our own players. So now that makes draft picks that much more important for the Kansas City Chiefs because they're not going to be able to go out and spend in free agency. So they know the only way that they're going to acquire new players for the most part next offseason is through the draft. And so those picks now have become more valuable to the Chiefs, knowing that they're not going to have a lot of play money in free agency to go out there, which in turn makes Breece Hall, they wanted a premier pick, a top 3-round pick for Breece Hall. The Chiefs, based on the draft capital that they have, were not willing to give up a quote-unquote first-day pick, a premier draft pick, to go get Breece Hall, who was a rental.
Carrington, let's talk about it for a little bit because Bob Fescoe is reporting one of the reasons the Chiefs did not pursue a third-round pick for Breece Hall is that they have already allocated their funds for next offseason, which includes an extension for Trent McDuffie, which most me and you are on the same page about, and an extension for Rashee Rice, which you're not so sure that's the greatest idea to rush out and re-sign Rashee.
All right, let's talk about this. Because I always feel like when we have these conversations, I come off like I'm anti-paying Rashee Rice. And I'm not anti-paying Rashee Rice. I'm not really sure if I'm pro-paying him either. I'm just in the wait and see. Because I'm looking at it like if I'm the one negotiating the contract. He hasn't had a 1,000-yard season. He is not a Pro Bowl receiver. He's never been an All-Pro. He has already had a significant knee injury, and he has already had a major off-the-field issue in which he was suspended for a third of the season. I just don't know why I, as a billion-dollar company, would then be rushing to go pay that person as opposed to right now, he can't go anywhere. It's not like he can leave at the end of the season. After this season, you have another year of club control that you can agree to a contract really at any point in that last year. And you also have the franchise tag if you want to continue negotiations and buy yourself more time. So I don't know why the Chiefs just wouldn't use that. And I feel like when we have these conversations, we make it seem like the Chiefs are quick to sign everybody. Not really. I mean, they didn't do that with Nick Bolton, and they signed Nick Bolton to a fair market contract. They didn't do that with Trey Smith, who didn't have an injury history, stand up, everything. So it's not like they aren't willing to wait for players. Some guys they sign early. Some guys they don't sign early. I just don't know why you would be in a rush to sign Rashee Rice to a contract right now when all of the conversations we have about Rashee Rice are what he can potentially turn out to be. And maybe he ends up getting there. But let's let him get there before we start talking about giving him $65, $70 million guaranteed, because that's what it would cost. And I feel like whenever we have these conversations and these hypotheticals about what a Rashee Rice contract, a lot of them end up being, well, I think we can get Rashee Rice at a discount. Tell me where you're getting really good receivers in 2025 at a discount. Show me where those guys exist. George Pickens, a team gave up on George Pickens. We think that Pickens is going to sign for a discount somewhere at the end of this season. Wide receiver is expensive right now. It just costs a lot of money to get it. So if you know that, let's try to get as much information as theoretically possible on him. I just don't have enough of that information yet on Rashee Rice, so I'm willing to wait on Rashee Rice.
So Rashee Rice has me kind of in a blender here, and I'm going to stand on both sides of the fence. Because the player, the actual on-the-field production, I do agree with you.
Real quick, can I read this real quick? I just want to read this. Someone says, CDOT, if Rashee Rice goes off next year and we got to give him $30 million, you can pay him. That's what an extension I think right now would cost for Rashee Rice. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I think when we have this, and I get it, everybody doesn't know what other wide receivers do, and I got the computer right here in front of me. I think people think that you can get him cheap because 8 years ago, the Chiefs were able to get Tyreek Hill on a discount. Those discounts don't exist anymore at the position. And what teams are willing to pay for that position has drastically changed since all of the Tyreek Hill stuff. If the Tyreek Hill incident had happened in 2025, he wouldn't have signed that contract. Because look at what George Pickens is going to do. You and I both think Pickens is getting paid somewhere this offseason. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to pay him, but trust me, George Pickens, who quit on a team less than a year ago, he is not signing a prove-it deal or a taking less deal. That's just not what wide receiver is right now. So if you want to sign Rashee Rice to a contract, to me, if you're not willing to pay him at least $27 million a year, you're not serious about signing him long-term. You can't be serious about signing him long-term if you're not willing to pay him at least 27. So if we're talking about giving him 27 and he hasn't done any of those things that we're talking about, just wait. Because to me, the number's not going to be much higher than that anyway.
And my point, and I know we're against the break, on the field player production, me and you see Rashee Rice the same way. I'd wait. He has not had a 1,000-yard season. He missed a year due to injury. He's missed 6 games this year due to suspension. Like, those things are all part of his story. The first year when he was playing and he was on the field, he was productive. But I would wait on the player. But I also know, man, this is the time of year that you do it. This is the time of, in a player's contract, it gets done. When a player exits the third year of their contract that goes in the final year, that is extension time in the NFL. We talked about it last year with Nick Bolton, and we talked about it last year with Trey Smith. And I know the savings aren't Mondo bucks, but if you wait till the end of their contract, you're now negotiating against everyone in the league as you get close to that legal tampering period. If you only negotiate with yourself, it's cheaper. Not cheap, but cheaper. And I think that's what's important to think. Fans think cheaper means, hey, if you wait till the very end of his contract, you're getting $30 million. You do it now, you're going to get $18 million. I think you're going to save like $3 million in the future. But you know what that $3 million can be used for? Trent McDuffie, who I think is the more valuable or important player to this team. So I think based on the timeline of where he is in his contract, you kind of have to get it done this offseason.
Yeah, and I guess maybe this is the thing, because I understand this logic, and we say this. CDOT, if you think Rashee is your guy, why not do it when it's cheaper? You have to pay him. It's smart to do it early. I understand the philosophy and what we're talking about. I'm willing to pay the extra $5 million than to see, because I don't think there's a big jump. Like, if we're looking at the deal right now, Jamar Chase makes $40 million. There's no scenario in which Rashee Rice is getting paid more than Jamar Chase. I don't care what he does. There's no world in which he's the highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League. If you're telling me that they think they can get him at this Jameson Williams deal, okay, I'm willing to listen then. If you're telling me that right now you think he'll sign for 3 years, $80 million and sign what Jameson Williams signed, that's not the worst contract in the world to me. But if you're telling me he's not willing to sign that and he's willing to bet on himself a little bit, then what do we think the most that he gets in? We think the most that he gets is then Amon-Ra St. Brown, which was 4 years, $120. Like, some of these contracts that people are throwing out, they're just not realistic. Like, if I'm Rashee Rice's agent, I'm telling you not to sign these deals because that's not what the position is worth. If you think Rice is a 1, we know what a 1 is worth. We know what a 1 is worth. It's not a discount. So just wait. Wait and see what happens. You have no clue what happens. No clue what happens. So I'm willing to play it out. But if I'm Rice, the minimum I'm taking is Jameson Williams. He signed for 3 years, $80 million, and got $67 million guaranteed. I'm just not giving that to a guy who has never had 1,000 yards. He does not have a Pro Bowl, he doesn't have any of those things that right now would signify that you should be paid like you're one of the top 10 highest paid receivers in the National Football League. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality health insurance and better health. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll for your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me. Like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. New crash, 435 southbound just past Gregory Boulevard. 2 right lanes are blocked. Down near Olathe, this one's still working. 35 southbound, it's at 119th. Be prepared to tap your brakes through there. The world is coming to Kansas City in 2026. Let's get that parking lot ready. Faded lines, potholes, unsafe sidewalks. Gann Asphalt and Concrete is your winning Team 1 contractor. All things parking lot. Visit GannAsphalt.com today. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, Rob, I want to ask you this question, and we'll move on from Rashee Rice, because a lot of people are on the side of I would pay him. That's perfectly fine. Let's say Rashee Rice comes to you right now and says, I want Brandon Ayuk's contract. I think I'm as good as Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk signed for 4 years, $120 million. He got a $23 million signing bonus and got $76 million guaranteed. Are you paying Rashee Rice that contract at the end of the season?
That's a good analogy. That's a good comp.
Because the only reason I ask that question is if you let's say that's the deal that he wants. That would make him the 10th highest paid receiver in the National Football League if that's what he wants today. There really isn't that many more wide receivers that get paid more than he is. So, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. That would make him actually looking at it. On a yearly average, that would make him the 7th highest paid receiver on a year-by-year basis. So, the receivers that make more than Brandon Ayuk are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. I like to point out all 6 of those receivers are better than Rashee Rice. So, if that's the contract then. If he tells you I want to be paid like Brandon Ayuk, are you paying him like Brandon Ayuk?
No. I would pay less than Ayuk, but I think we're in the same tier. I would probably pay a little less, but I think we're in the same
Would you pay him
ballpark.
A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown got 3 for $96. So,
yeah,
so A.J. Brown is making $32 million a year.
I would probably do A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I don't know I'd be happy about it, but that's probably what it's going to be.
Would you give him Terry McLaurin's deal, which is a little bit more? Basically, A.J. Brown's. It's 3 for $98.
Yeah. I mean, I also think McLaurin's a little unique because this is his second bite of the apple. But yes, I think he and Terry McLaurin are actually very similar wide receivers. So yes, I would pay him Terry McLaurin no money.
Is that contract working out right now for the Commanders?
No,
they signed him to that deal. His body started giving out instantly.
This is where I think that's why I point out it's different because Terry McLaurin's 29.
Yeah, I also think we're also seeing those wide receivers that hold out and then don't practice the whole offseason.
Yeah,
they try to it never ends up working out for the team.
Also, while
that's what they want to do.
If we're gonna have this conversation, I know we need to change topics. Who are the next outside of Rice? Who's the next wave of guys who are gonna get paid? Because that's also part of it. Justin Jefferson swam in, Jamar Chase's wake. These things are part of the equation. Look down the pipe a little bit. Who are some guys who are about to get paid? Because you look at the NFL wide receiver-wise, there's another crop that's about to make a lot of money. Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to make a ton of money
100%.
very quickly. And Smith-Njigba is a better player than Rashee Rice, no doubt. But you know how contracts work. If that guy sets the market at that number, you got to then reset the number to get closer to that. So I would also get Rice done before Njigba. I'd get him done before Ladd McConkey. I would get him done before these guys because a Terry McLaurin deal sounds bad now. It might get worse if one of those guys gets mega paid.
I think one of the reasons I feel this way too is because someone just texted in, and we can talk about the Royals. I actually want to talk about their stadium here. Someone says, who could you get on an open market for the next year? The one thing that we know is wide receivers are almost always available. Think about the last 3 years in the National Football League. If you really wanted a number one wide receiver, you've had chances to go get him, right? I mean, George Pickens was available. DK Metcalf was available. Tyreek Hill has been available. It's not like a position that I would say right now there is a scarcity on. It's not a scarcity at the position. So that's where I think it's a little bit of just wait and see how kind of things play himself out. Brandon Ayuk was certainly available in the last couple of years. Remember, we were flirting with, there was a trade in place for him to go to New England. He didn't want to go to New England. He ended up working things out. So that's a position right now where you just have all the opportunity in the world to go find a really, really productive wide receiver. So, Rob, let's talk about this. Have you seen that the Royals are currently sending out surveys to its season ticket holders about their stadium ideas? I do think we learned a couple of things in this. Now, it confirms something that I think we already know, that there are only 3 possibilities on where the stadium is going to be. They have narrowed it down. It is either going to be on 119th and All at the Hesperia campus, it is going to be in downtown Kansas City, or it is going to be in North Kansas City in Clay County. Now, for whatever reason, it's very quiet around downtown Kansas City. When was the last time there was news about the Washington Square Park? I feel like it's been 8 to 9 months.
I mean, define real news. Every time the mayor's on this show or any show, he talks about it. But that's not news. He's just saying the same thing over and over again.
For sure, but just think about it. We got the news that the Royals actually bought the land on 119th and All. We also got news that the Royals are having conversations with the mayor of North Kansas City. When was the last time that we got any development on what could potentially be happening in downtown Kansas City? So maybe that's third. Maybe they really are operating in silence, and then they'll unveil this beautiful plan for a downtown stadium. But it's been pretty quiet. This is the part that frustrates me the most about the Royals in this process. A lot of the things that they are currently doing, why didn't they do that from the very, very beginning? When the Royals first made the decision that we are ready to move, I would say, in what is already a controversial decision. Like, I think right now, if there was just a straight vote, do you want the Royals to have a new stadium or do you want the Royals to stay where they are? I think the stay where they are option would win. I think it would win. I think a majority of people think that there's nothing wrong with Kauffman Stadium. We all love Kauffman Stadium, and that's where people want the stadium to be. So I would say it is already an unpopular opinion that you think their stadium is not good enough and it's ready to go. But I think what is highlighted in the last 18 months since this thing failed is how rushed and how quickly together they put it. Everything that I think the Royals are doing now behind the scenes is what they should have been doing from the very, very beginning. Hey, we're having conversations with these people. Hey, we bought this land over here. We are still keeping our minds open to what we want to do. And when we feel like we got a concrete plan and we are lock steady with what we want to do, then we'll come to the city. Then we'll come to our citizens with a plan, with an idea, and how we can work together to make this happen. That is not what the Royals did last year. What the Royals did was give us your money and trust us. We'll figure out the rest. You cannot think back now to last April and feel like the Royals had a solid plan. The people that they were thinking about being neighbors with openly were telling you, we don't want this here. It wasn't just 1 or 2 community groups. It was the actual community was telling you, we don't want this here. So when you think about that, I don't think that would happen now if the Royals were trying to do that. Like, I don't know if there would be protests on 119th and All for we don't want the Royal Stadium to be here. I don't think there would be protests in North Kansas City. There were protests in the Crossroads. No, we love our community. We want it to stay this way. So I don't know why the Royals didn't do some of this work on the front end and then ask for money as opposed to the plan that they had. Well, we got this tax. It'd be really great if you guys would just vote yes and then trust us, we'll get this thing right. It just now goes to show that the step that they did was the last step, but they did that first. I know it's frustrating that we continue to go back and forth, but I don't have a problem with them doing this. I just question the timing of all of this and why we didn't have this survey in January of 2024. That's when we should have been having these conversations. That's when they should have been talking to the mayor of this place and buying land and doing all of this stuff and keeping their options open. And then we could have voted on what the plan was going to be. That's how I would have handled it if I was the Royals. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, folks, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss.
Call it in the air.
Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses. Plus, an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me. Like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Park & Go. Your holiday travel made easy with all covered airport parking.
Heading out of town for the holidays? Make travel easy with Park & Go. Enjoy all covered parking, free shuttles, and luggage help that'll have you feeling merry and bright. Reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Happy holidays from Park & Go.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Multi-car crash working 635 southbound at Metcalf. Right lane is blocked. Center lanes are blocked just below that. 35 northbound at Shawnee Mission Parkway. Also Overland Park. 35 southbound. That's a stall. 75th in the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. Yesterday, we saw the first poll that really matters in college football. I tell you guys this now with the college football playoff. I don't care where teams are ranked in October. It doesn't matter where you're ranked in October. The only thing that matters is what the committee thinks about you and where you are positioned to potentially go on a run based on the committee. Well, we have our first poll that is out, and I think it's pretty telling. I don't know why college football and the power teams, I don't know why the power teams allow Notre Dame to operate very differently than everybody else. Like, it seems like at some point the SEC and the Big Ten would just step up and say, no, you're not doing this anymore. You need to either join a conference or you got to face the same scrutiny that we face. That Notre Dame just gets the ability to not play a regular schedule the way that those teams do, maybe not have some of the pitfalls that those teams do, yet they get all of the benefits that the other teams get. I just don't know why the other teams sign up for this. So what I mean is, right now, Notre Dame, if the playoff started today, Notre Dame would be in the playoff. If Notre Dame wins out, they will be in the playoff, despite their schedule is soft. They have one good win this season. They beat USC. I mean, that's not a great win. It's not a bad win either. It's a fine home win. USC at home is a fine home win, but that's it. They played Miami. They lost. They played A&M. They lost. They don't have another great game on their schedule. So wait, you're telling me, like, you wouldn't let a team that didn't have a major brand get to the playoff with the schedule? You just wouldn't. I'm sorry. You wouldn't let this team get in there. The rest of the way, they play Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Stanford. You can go 10-2 with that schedule and make the college football playoff? I don't like it. I really don't like it. Outside of that, honestly, everything else is going to figure itself out. BYU and Texas Tech are both in the college football playoff, but they play each other this week. Utah's on the outside looking in. They got a chance to still win the Big 12, so no reason to be worried about that. And right now, they think Memphis is the best group of five school. I mean, outside of that, I don't really think there's many other big takeaways in the first playoff ranking than that. We need a couple more of these to build up, and then we can start the arguing. But right now, there's not really much to argue about other than why does Notre Dame get treated this way?
I mean, Notre Dame's going to make the playoff. You know what's going to happen. They're going to win their first playoff game, and the discussion around them, it's just going to be really bad. The two things that stood to me is, the Big 12.
They have one decent win.
Yeah, I mean,
they have one decent win.
But you know what? They get to play the SEC game. We had a good loss. That's the SEC's game, and now Notre Dame is playing it well.
Yeah, no, you're right. But normally when you're in the SEC, you at least have one or two good wins. Well, we beat Ole Miss. We went on the road and beat Missouri. You have one of those kind of – they don't even have that.
No, they don't have that. They're just playing the losing part of the game. Look, I mean, I guess both of Notre Dame's losses are, quote, good losses, although the committee really hates Miami, just really hates the U. You know what also to me? Like last year with Boise State, we could argue, hey, they should be a top 4 seed. Hey, did a group of 5 teams to make it? I understood all that. Memphis is not ranked and is automatically in the playoff. Like, I know that's the system we've signed up for. That is the system. Like, remember the old days where to make what was it called? They called it the New Year's 6 bowl games. You had to finish in the top 16. If Memphis is going to end up not ranked, do they really get to be 12th in the country? That seems goofy to me.
We wanted a system that gives the little guy a chance, and they got their chance.
That's fine. I'm cool with the little guy get their chance. The little guys should get their chance, but also we're giving them a chance because they're a quality opponent, not just a charity case. They would go if the playoffs start tomorrow. They go to Georgia. They have no chance.
I don't know. This is what I would do for those teams. I don't know why they don't have their own group of 5 championship. Like the same way that like the two best teams in the Big 12 have to play each other and then that's the representative, or the two best teams in the SEC, why don't we have a group of 4 championship game? I know they're not in the same league.
But the winner would go to the Big 12. Okay.
Memphis and Boise State, you are the two best teams that are not in the mix. You two play each other in a championship-style game, and then that team is the automatic represent. Like, why is that not the system? Why is there a Mountain West championship? Who cares about this? Let the other teams that have no chance, let them play in that game. If everything's going to be about the playoff, then let's try to do the playoff right. Let's try to do it right. But this Notre Dame thing, like, how have they been able to operate? These are their wins this season. Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, and Boston College. That gets you in the playoff? That's weak.
That schedule legit might be easier than Memphis. Like, I know I just made fun of Memphis. Memphis also beat Arkansas, so that's the same.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Memphis is going to play Navy. Like, that's the same. Like, oh.
Yeah, I'm sitting here wondering, like, why is Notre Dame in the playoff, but Texas isn't in the playoff? What makes Notre Dame better than Texas? Texas has better wins than what Notre Dame has, and they have the same amount of losses.
They have Oklahoma as their best win.
I mean, I would argue beating Vanderbilt's better than any of these other teams.
I forgot about Vanderbilt. You're right. Yep.
They also play Georgia this week, so maybe they can play themselves into it. I mean, Texas has Georgia and Texas A&M. I will argue Texas should be in over Notre Dame if they both have 2 losses at the end of the season. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what somebody, you got to let it play itself out, man. All right, we had a lot of fun today. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.